A video of my wife's affair went viral, and now the whole town knows.
Hey, it's time to monetize that, baby. Let's make some money.
About a week ago, I got contacted by my wife's best friend's husband asking if we could meet up and talk. Long story short, he dropped a bomb on me telling me our wives were cheating on us and showed me a video that had been spreading on adult sites of our wives and their friend having spicy sleep at their old house with some guys we've never seen before. By the way, this comes from Random Throw 1977. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when I confronted my wife about it, she went through all the stages of emotions and all the excuses she could come up with. She even said it wasn't her, even though her face is clearly visible. I immediately called my lawyer and explained everything, to which he told me to take a breather, collect my thoughts, and he sent me an email with things to do so I can take it step by step. I, 46 male, and my wife, 44 female, have 3 kids. Our daughters, 12 and 4, and our son, 9. They all go to school where we live. They're all doing sports or activities. They love it here. They're doing great, and this is where the biggest issue comes in. We live in a small town, and word has definitely gotten around. A lot of things I noticed before knowing this had happened make so much more sense now. Weird looks, people ignoring me, or flat out excusing themselves quickly when they talk to me. People know, people have seen it, and I'm so scared for my kids. Our eldest daughter has already received comments about it in school, along the lines of, "Your mother is a B word." And as someone who was bullied a lot in school, and knowing that these videos are close to impossible to take down, I'm terrified they're going to get bullied and that their lives are going to be destroyed. Genuinely, I think you have to move now. Get them out before this is even, an issue. The only possible option for me seems to be leave town and start over elsewhere. But I don't want my kids to miss out on their friends, their hobbies, and their activities. It's going to rip them out of their lives. But staying here, where everyone knows, seems incredibly unsafe. I'm probably missing a lot that I should be adding. Please, if there's any information left to share, I will update. But for the last week, all I've been grinding my head about is how to keep my kids safe. Is there anything I can do at all? I mean, I think talk to your older kids. Explain what happened. They're going to find out. Say there's a video of your mom cheating online. Obviously, for the younger kids, different.
You get industrial equipment and you build a bunker. And once you build that bunker, you tell your children that the world is coming to an end and they must live in the bunker.
Yeah.
And there is no internet in the bunker. And mom didn't make it.
Yeah.
So it's just you and the kids in the bunker forever.
My point is, I think you need to tell them the truth. Tell them now. And I think you need to get the heck out of Dodge. Update! It's been getting a lot of comments, and I'd like to thank you all for doing so. It really helps, even if it's just someone listening in. I wanted to post somewhat of an update to clarify things a bit more since I didn't really share enough information initially. People ended up giving great advice, but I asked the wrong questions, so to speak. My son is autistic. He's very attached to his teacher, who's made incredible progress with him. He doesn't respond well to changes in his life. Having him move places away from his mom, his grandma, his friends, his school, etc. is going to be incredibly difficult for him to the point where I don't know how he could recover from that. My daughter is an early teen. She has so many changes going on already, and she's finally found a group she's close with and fits in. Do you think I should take them away from here, completely flipping their lives upside down, if it means I can protect them from what's to come? Bullying. My mother, who loves her grandkids and loves my wife, lives in a retirement home. She's unwell and knows something is going on, but doesn't know exactly what. If I tell her exactly what happened, I fear that I'm going to break her and hurt her to the point where she gets sicker and sicker. Do I tell her what happened, or do I tell her a white lie to not risk it? She can't come and visit us often. We usually go to her unless it's holidays or about once every 2 months. I pick her up and bring her home. Moving means that's going to be more difficult. The kids love her, and I don't want to take them away from each other. Maybe we can move her too, or in a new place. The last couple of hours, I've been getting more texts from people who are concerned or are warning me about videos going around in WhatsApp groups. All in all, the effort we, a close friend and I, took to take down videos has been useless because it's going around town and there's no way to stop it. All I can do now is damage control. I just don't know what the right steps are for my kids. And so far, both my close friends and Reddit are almost 50-50 about it. My lawyer and I will discuss custody. I'm not sure how to do this yet. The kids love their mom and she loves them, and taking them away from one another might not be the best option. On the other hand, if she's seen with our kids and people put two and two together, they might still be unsafe even if we move. Therapy is being worked on for the kids and myself. I'm definitely divorcing my wife. I'm going to talk with the school board this week, and they've already started watching the kids for their safety. My wife called me and she wants to talk. I'm thinking about whether I should right now.
I think if you talk to her, you should record it, and I think
Yeah.
you should probably consult a lawyer to see what kind of reparations you would get for having to pay for moving your family because of your wife's actions in order to
Absolutely.
protect your children.
Agreed. My brother called, who's about 30 kilometers away, asking me what's going on because he's seen the video in a WhatsApp group as well.
What are people using WhatsApp
group?
for, dude?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like,
What?
what WhatsApp groups are you guys in? I'm having a talk with my oldest daughter tomorrow, and I'm going to give her the space and time to express her feelings. I'm going to listen to her and let her make up her own mind. I'm going to support her and tell her I'm there for her if she needs me. And I'm going to try and explain it to her in a way that's understandable. I'm not going to slander my wife in front of her or any of our kids, for that matter. I think that's all for now. I'll try to keep up with comments and get back to you as much as I can. Again, thank you so much for your advice and for listening. My wife has not been talking up until just now, and I'm going to talk to her about what she's going to do to protect our kids. And there is a second update 4 months later.
Oh, no, I saw the first line.
Yeah. I still think you gotta move or boarding school or maybe, I mean, it still wouldn't be great, but maybe homeschool. 4 months later. Life has not been good the last few months. 4 months ago, I learned that my wife cheated on me and that it was recorded and spreading on adult websites. The biggest problem has been the safety and well-being of our 3 kids. I've divorced my wife, I've lawyered up, and we decided to move to another town. Yeah, because we lived in a small community and the damage was done. Our daughter received nasty comments, and I couldn't risk the kids being more exposed. It wasn't just the nasty comments, it's the looks you get and the fact that you know the entire town is talking about you and has seen the mother of your kids in such a way. First, my daughter. People suggested I should speak to her as soon as possible when I found out what happened to try and do damage control and be there for her. I did speak to her, and she already knew about it. She had also received nasty comments. In short, I feel like I was too late because I held off talking to her since I didn't know how to, or I was scared. She's in therapy, but she's not doing well. Moving schools was hard on her because she was finally making friends in what is a confusing time for a young girl. She's quiet, and I have a hard time communicating with her. I'm told that therapy could take time and that 3 to 4 months isn't all that much, but it hurts me to see her unhappy. She doesn't want to talk to me about the situation, which I completely understand. I have assured her that if she wants to talk about anything, I'm there for her. My son isn't doing well either. He's autistic, and it takes a long time for him to adjust and settle. He's had an amazing teacher and caretaker in school who he trusted. That's gone from his life, and he's just very uneasy about it. His parents split up, we changed houses and locations. All in all, it's been very hard on him, and we're trying to get him to feel secure and at ease. But so far, it's been difficult. Our youngest is doing fine, thankfully. She's too young to grasp what's been going on, even though she's been asking about mom and dad and why we moved. But she's actually enjoying herself, which is kind of a blessing at this point. My mother passed away 2 months ago. She's been unwell and living in a retirement home. I took the kids to see her as much as possible, which got harder as we moved places and was one of the factors I had to take into consideration about moving or staying. I never told her exactly what happened because I just couldn't. It would have wrecked her. I told her we were moving and that my wife and I split up. She asked why, of course, but I just told her we weren't seeing eye to eye about things and that everything was going to be all right. I feel conflicted about lying to her, but at the same time, I didn't want to burden her with something that's not going to get better. A lot of people were asking me things about my wife, the cheating situation, the video, etc. And I haven't really touched on that before because it simply wasn't a priority. So I wanted to touch on that here. Some people ask if there were signs of her cheating, and the short answer is yes. I just didn't see it or pay attention to it because you're in love, you got kids to take care of, and I might have been naive. Basically, she was more distant towards me, and we weren't intimate often. I figured she was just exhausted as life can be, especially with kids. She started going out more with her friends, paid a lot more attention to her looks, makeup, clothing, etc. She bought shoes she'd never wear. She was protective of her phone. I just thought she was having a good time with her friends, and I thought she deserved that. Minus the infidelity part. I got a lot of questions about AI and deepfake technology being involved in the video. Well, we already know that the wife admitted to it, so the answer is no. The video was recorded at my wife's friend's house. This was confirmed to me by her husband, who initially informed me about the situation. I'm aware AI can do scary things, but I recognized my wife easily. I recognized one of her friends. I recognized her shoes and clothes, and my wife confessed to the whole thing eventually. Is the video still online? Yes, and it's not ever coming down. A friend of mine works in IT, and he did everything he could as soon as I got the news, but it's basically impossible to remove completely. How did the cheating start or happen? How long? Were they wasted, coerced, or pressured? My wife locked herself in her bedroom for a long time, refusing to properly talk about anything. To be honest, I didn't ask much because the kids had absolute priority. I've been having therapy myself, and it was recommended that I do talk about it with my wife to get some closure, but only when I felt ready for it. I ended up talking to my wife, her friend, and her friend's husband separately. The cheating my wife did was a one-time thing, according to her. The unmarried friend has always been a promiscuous woman. Apparently, she had been hooking up with a guy she met on a forum and dragged my wife and their other married friend into it. There was a thrill to it, and they had been spicy texting this guy and other guys they met before. They went to a club somewhere, had drinks, and ended up home having spicy sleep. The video was taken by one of the men, and at the time, they all deny giving consent to it, but were aware they were being filmed. At some point, two of them look at the camera. Well, there is a huge difference between giving consent to filming something and giving consent to releasing it online. They could absolutely, obviously your wife is an a-hole for cheating and all of that, but she could absolutely sue whoever released this footage, and y'all could get a lot of money. After that night, my wife had been spicy texting one of the men for quite some time, but says she never acted on it again. Both her friends kept seeing them. The story is still vague as they, the women, have conflicting stories about what happened, but this was the gist of it, and I knew enough. And I know enough about you guys listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left to this story. What a doozy it was.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. Maybe she can sue for damages, and then you can get paid most of it because it damaged you and your children's
kids.
lives.
Yeah. I'm probably missing out on a lot still, and I'm willing to answer any questions. Right now, I'm in therapy, and so are my kids. My ex-wife still lives back in our hometown with her mother. The house is going up for sale. I'm still focused on getting my kids whatever they need, and I'm hopeful they'll get through this. The video is still being shared, and occasionally I get someone online asking me about it. Never in person.
Dude, who's doing that?
Truly. However, the worst seems to be over, and despite the worries I have for my kids not doing well at the moment, I still think moving was the right choice because back home, things got out of control. Wow.
Out of control is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Yikes.
Yowza.
And someone says she won't sue because the men probably know the truth and the wives knew what they were doing. But again, there is a difference between knowing that you were being filmed and consenting to having that spread around. So, yeah, that is definitely could be sued for that. My neighbor said my girlfriend kept him up at night while I was out of state.
He messed it up. You gotta do it again.
My girlfriend Kay and I have been dating for about 3 years, and we currently live together in my apartment. We both work in the same industry, which sometimes requires us to travel. Kay usually lets me know if she has people over whenever I'm out of town, and I have done the same for her too. By the way, this comes from Deleted. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. This morning I ran into my downstairs neighbor who awkwardly asked me to tone it down because he could hear us having spicy sleep from his apartment. I apologized and told him it would not happen again, and he thanked me since it was keeping him up at night for the past couple weeks. I got confused since I just got back from an out-of-state project that took several weeks. And he confirmed the noises had been going on for a while. During that time away, Kay never said she had anyone over and was mostly going out instead. I think she might be cheating on me. Before Kay, I had another girlfriend who cheated on me, because my brother found out and told me, and when I immediately confronted my ex, she first denied but later confessed. However, when we broke up, she and her friends who knew about her cheating lied and said I was the one who cheated, and everyone believed her since it was just me and my brother's words against hers until one of her friends felt guilty and revealed the truth. That incident messed me up for a while and made me swear off any relationships until I met Kay. Kay and I met a few months after I moved here from across the country for work, and she has been everything to me. She knows about my ex and agreed that cheating would be a deal breaker, but the possibility of her cheating is torturing me. Not just for having my heart and trust broken again, but I feel like a complete idiot for being this naive.
Man, it's not your fault, OP.
Since that morning, I felt really sick and just went back to bed. Kay is out right now and does not know I'm home. I do not have definite proof she's been cheating. My only word is my neighbor's. And I have no reason not to trust him since he's always been a pretty nice guy, and this was the first time he's ever complained. I feel like if I confront her now without proof, she'll pull the same thing my ex did. I really hope that I'm just being paranoid and she never cheated, but I feel like a horrible person for not trusting her and jumping to conclusions. What should I do? Confront her now or wait? If I do confront her, what is the best way to do so? And there is an update.
Do it by surprise, and you go, dude, the landlord told me that we had to tone down the spicy time because he was so loud. I've been gone for weeks.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
What's that about?
And if she fumbles for 1 second, then you know that she's lying.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty telling.
Because that should immediately be like the only other thing is if it's like, there's some people in the comments being like, what if it was just some little solo time? And she would go, oh my God, are you serious? Oh, that's so, no, that was so embarrassing.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're going to find out how
Well,
OP asked.
decibels are not always an indicator of performance quality.
So I was originally going to hint to her about what Dan, our neighbor downstairs, said about hearing some spicy sleep noises during the week, but as some suggested, that might tip her off, so I came up with something different. I texted her earlier in the afternoon that I was not going to be home until after midnight, but I waited at home to see if she would bring anyone with her while I was gone. She came home just by herself, but she was startled to see me, although she said it was because she did not see me on the couch. I told her I finished work earlier than expected and my phone just passed away. I tried looking at her phone while she was in the shower, but there is a passcode on there. Some people were also suggesting she might have been watching Korn or another adult show. I did not want to answer earlier, but it might be a possibility since both of us watch Korn usually together and we both do not have any problem with the other watching on our own. I asked if she watched anything while I was away and she said yes, and wanted to know if I was interested tonight, so I guess that made sense. I did not mention Dan hearing the noises, but still, it could not have been that loud enough to disturb Dan since we have always watched it in the bedroom. The only place where he could hear loud noises would be our living room where we do not play it. So despite her being really startled seeing me tonight, Kay has not acted out of the ordinary, and she gave me an answer without me tipping her off. But something feels off. I cannot really sleep since this whole thing has been keeping me up, and I still feel like she's hiding something. As much as I hate to do this, I might get a couple cheap cameras around the apartment to see if she brings anyone home while I'm out again. And there is a second update. I hate the idea of putting cameras in your house and filming her without her consent.
Yeah, not a good move.
Instead of just bringing it up. Like, she might lie, but she also, I don't know.
This is
worse.
This is where you actually talk to Dan, your neighbor, and be like, "Hey, man, I wasn't home for several weeks.
Yeah, can you tell me what you heard?"
Yeah, I don't want
This is awkward.
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but can we work together here? Like, if you hear that again, and I'm like, I'm gonna just kind of figure out the schedule here. Let me know.
You could like employ him and be like, I'm going to say I'm going out of town for another thing. Let me know if this happens again or if, there's someone coming around because I wasn't here, my guy.
As much as I hate to do this, I might get a couple cheap cameras around the apartment to see if she brings anyone home while I'm out again. And there is a second update. The next morning, I ran into Dan again while Kay was out for work. He apologized for the weird exchange, and I told him it was fine, but I was still curious and asked him what exactly he heard and when it happened so that it would not happen again. Dan was more comfortable this time and told me that it was a combination of loud moans and yeses and furniture being moved around, not just in the area where our bedroom is, but also in our living room, and they happened on and off past midnight. I asked if he heard anything on the night I came home, since Kay and I had spicy sleep that night, and he said he did not. My heart sank when he said that. I was just so shocked that I kept mumbling, but I just got home that night. Dan put two and two together and started apologizing to me profusely. He apparently did not know that I had been out for weeks, and when he first addressed this to me, I thought he was only talking about the night I came back. I told him everything, and he said he felt awful that Kay might be cheating on me. He swore he never saw Kay with anyone the weeks I was gone, and when he interacted with her, she never indicated that I was out. Dan promised he would keep an eye out and let me know of anything suspicious, and if I needed anything, he would be there for me.
Shout out Dan. He's
Good
a
for
great
Dan.
kisser.
Okay.
May cheat on your... Don't do it. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Based on what Dan said, Kay was definitely not watching corn. But whenever we had spicy sleep, it was typically before midnight or in the morning, never past midnight. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately or throw her things out of my apartment. It's not under her name, but she splits expenses with me and changed the locks, but I still have no proof other than just Dan. Per the advice given in the previous thread, I'm planning on getting cameras and putting them around places where she probably cannot see them. The only problem is trying to schedule a time where I could be out. We both work in the same industry, and the projects we work on are pretty public. She's currently working on one that is local, while my next one is not for a couple weeks, but that's also local. I could not tell any of my friends this, so I called my brother instead, and of course he is livid. He and my family really loved Kay, and he was outraged on my behalf. He suggested what everyone else said and get cameras, but when I told him she was going to be out frequently and I was going to be home, he believed she could be seeing her cheating partner outside of my apartment and volunteered to fly out and tailor for me, which I immediately said no to. He has always been really hot-headed and abrasive, and my ex, before Kay, was able to use that against him when he caught her with her cheating partner.
I think, okay, we're doing so much. This is just like,
Just
be
to
like,
confront her.
babe, I have a question. What would you do if I was cheating on you? How would you feel if I was cheating on you? And then whenever she goes, she'd be like, oh my God, I'd be like, that's wrong. I'd be like sad. And then you go, oh great. So why did you do that to me? Then if that's how you feel, why did you do that to me?
At the end of the day, you just gotta confront her.
And then
Confront her and break up with her.
I
And
don't
there
know
we
what
go.
you're talking about. You go, I literally heard you rearrange the furniture so you could get up in your gut. So I'm going to go out and find a new lady. And by the time I come back, I hope you're gone.
Yeah.
Because we're going to use the furniture tonight.
Oh.
And you probably won't like it.
Then he tried convincing me to hire a PI, but I was not really comfortable with that idea. Money is not the issue, just more like I felt it was too extreme. I told him not to tell anyone, and he reluctantly agreed. I just do not know how to process this. The thought of Kay bringing some guy home to sleep with on my bed and all over my living room, after all I told her about my cheating ex, has taken a huge mental toll on me.
Yeah, dude, it's time. You got to reclaim him. You got to reclaim it.
Break up with her.
You
Break
got
up
to
with her.
reclaim.
Break
You got
up.
to reclaim your dominance in the room like
Break
an
up.
alpha.
Was she taking advantage of me this whole time? Is it someone from her circle of friends who I've never really clicked well with but always got along fine? Or someone I've never met before? Honestly, when we first started dating, I always felt that she was out of my league. But you guys aren't out of our league. We're in the same league. And we hope that you listen to the full episodes of stories just like this that are in the league. They're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Riot and search a book, Story Times.
Yes.
Kay is so beautiful and jubilant. And I have always been kind of shy and reserved. She's helped me get out of my depression with my ex and helped me adjust to the city we live in after moving from across the country. Why would you do this to me? It really sucked having to lie when she got home last night and asked me how I was feeling and telling her that I was fine. She does not seem to suspect anything and she acts like nothing happened. And that's the end of the story. My ex made a false post about me, so I retaliated.
As you should.
I was with my ex, Kay, for 2 years, and we've been living together for 1. To make all the drama short, I found out she was having an affair for 6 months with her boss. I found out about it and broke up with her on the spot. Kay didn't even try to justify or deny it. She just moved out. By the way, this comes from Low Afternoon 9686. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. But here comes the main thing in all this mess. Honestly, I wasn't expecting her to bring our breakup to online, but she did. With the classic BS about me holding her back, how a bright future was waiting for her, and all that type of stuff. But here's my part. Because the one thing that made me mad as heck was one of her posts where she said that I was treating her badly. I have a special spot for this because I volunteer in one of those women's centers, and I provide housing for people who experience that for real. So you can imagine the rage and anger I felt when she posted that fake BS. I simply made a post on my page with the proof of her cheating and tagged her directly. Well, the part I wasn't expecting comes now, because to me, for no reason, it's like the universe decided to make my post go viral in our community, and the internet rage started under her posts. I was expecting maybe someone calling her out. In just 2 weeks, her profile was full of people calling her every possible name in the book, people wishing her the worst stuff and all that. But Kay being Kay, instead of doing what normal people would do, doubled down and got even more hate and worse stuff than I thought possible. The cherry on top was the fact that she's now on administrative leave because apparently her boss tried to throw her under the bus to save his job. And mostly because her jobs page became flooded with not so kind comments about her, from the classic fire her to stuff I can't even say here. And the most insane thing happened 3 days ago. Her car was smashed by someone, not me, obviously, because I had better things to do than worry about my cheating ex. Even her own family started getting harassed by people on their socials. Yesterday, she wrote me from a new number asking me to delete my post, but because she couldn't keep up with any more people insulting her on every post she made, and the job thing was the last straw. Honestly, I wasn't expecting all this mess. Of course, some people crossed a line with her car, her family, and her job, but you know what? I don't feel bad for her at all. She knew about my work supporting troubled women and still tried to paint me as a villain by accusing me of things she knew exactly how I felt about. So maybe it's because it's all still fresh, but I don't feel bad for her and have no intention of taking down my post, which, by the way, actually gained me 50K followers out of nowhere. So am I the a-hole for refusing to take down my post and letting her face the consequences of her cheating? And there are some comments, but what do you think? Because I have some mixed thoughts about this.
I mean, I know I said in the beginning, like, as you should, but that was just to say something. I'd never think that revenge is, like, a good idea,
Yeah.
especially with social
Public
media
revenge,
stuff.
It's so icky to me.
It's just so, like, because what's going to happen is, like, oh, people are just going to be quickly clicking through stories because everyone's just doom scrolling, and they're just going to be like, oh, they broke up. Oh, awkward. She's saying all of this stuff. Oh, wow, weird. And then they're gonna click, and be like, oh, okay. He's saying all this stuff. Click, whatever. And they're gonna forget about it.
I just think that for me, I don't think OP was the a-hole initially. I don't think it's ever a good idea to post your, all of this when you're still
Your baggage.
when you're still dealing with it. I don't think it's necessarily the best idea.
I don't think so either.
I don't fault him necessarily. Like, I don't think he's an a-hole for doing it.
Sure.
Maybe a self a-hole. But however, at the point when she says, hey, my family, is being attacked basically for this, I probably would be like, I'm going to take it down. Not for you, but for like.
Or just put something in there of just being like,
Hey,
hey, I'm just doing this to like save face, like, and save my reputation. But like, let's not ruin her
like
life.
Is he sending those threats to people? Is he doing that? No. But it is directly in response to something he posted,
and when he got 50K followers for it, like that's definitely, he's gonna attract some wild ones.
No, so I think that I think that you've done it, you've gotten your justice. Everyone knows the truth. I think I would take it down. Just for the sake of her family, honestly. Not even really her, but I think it's been long enough. Commenter 1 says, ask her to post a retraction and apology to you on her social media. She made false statements that would threaten your job and reputation. So until you get at least that, F her. She made her bed, she can lie in it. I think you could do that too. Comment 2 says, tell her you'll consider taking it down if she issues a full apology and retraction to social media. Comment 3 says, you don't owe her anything. If you want to be nice, take it down, but not if she's going to lie about you again. She can certainly delete her social media and not deal with any of this anymore. It's probably the best idea for her now. If you want to work with her, I would say you can take your post down since it's already done its job, but she needs to make a post admitting that she lied about you. If she's going to tarnish your rep, she has to be the one to clear it before you take your post down. There is an update. 5 days later, here's the update on how things ended up. And I really hope to post again about more funny and better stuff than all this drama. In the last post, I talked about my ex texting me to delete the post and end all this charade, or charade. In the end, we came to an agreement. The agreement is extremely simple. She makes a public post on her page in which she honestly tells the truth about how our relationship ended and takes full accountability for her false accusations or allegations. And then and only then, I take down my post. 3 days ago, she agreed, and she did. Actually, under that post, she got more hate than before, but that's not my problem. And I did the same. About all of this mess, I have to say that in these last 2 days after her apology post, like I call it, this situation has calmed down pretty naturally, but she still receives hate. On this part, I have to say that before deleting my post, I made it clear that insulting my ex and wishing her a bad fate wasn't normal, so to please stop all this charade and respect her apologies. So until now, her profile went from 2K comments to almost 500. And like I said, almost all not exactly kind, but the situation is getting better, and I think it's because people got tired of the drama and simply moved on to another one. But I hope you don't move on from listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I think you did it well. I mean, the internet's a crazy place, and people get crazy on the internet.
People a bit crazy.
It's just a whole thing. I mean, people just need to chill out about situations they don't know about. You think you know about it because people are telling you, but I think there's a big difference between, I don't know. I have my theories about how the internet works and people's mindsets. Like, I kind of think it's like we're so used to TV shows, and if there's drama in a TV show, we need it to be solved, right?
Yeah, and also you immediately make like a snap judgment when you're watching a TV show.
Yeah, because that's all you get. Like the small information that you're given is supposed to tell you everything, you know? And I think we're so used to that. So then when we see this stuff online, it doesn't feel real, and it doesn't feel like these are complicated human lives, but they are. And so we still think like, this must be all the information that's important, and then we react on that. And I'm gonna need to go to the bathroom really fast.
You can go. I'll talk more about that while
go
you
ahead.
I think that I agree with that completely. I think oftentimes people make snap judgments about celebrities or just people that we see online when you really don't know anything about them than like the barest minimum snapshot of their life. Which is why I feel like whenever I hear drama about people, I always try to take it with a grain of salt.
There's the three sides of the story. It's side A, side B, and then the truth kind of thing. This one's, it's because what she posted was really, really bad. And,
exactly.
And it's like,
this one was a little bit more cut and dry.
Yeah, very much so. Like, this is like a little, honestly, there's not really, I would say gray. It's more black and white here where it's like, hey, you posted that and that's not good. And I don't know why. Come on, like.
But does she deserve threats against her life or threats against her family? No. I guess my advice is careful what you post online and also careful how you're reacting to other people's drama that you see online. Because you really, I feel like I always see people like jumping on the bandwagon whenever you like on TikTok, I'll be scrolling and then I'll see some drama about like some celebrity, and everyone in the comments is like, I always knew that that person was the worst. I always knew that, like, I never liked them.
And it's before anything, like, any truth comes out, or that person has like responded, or like there's actual proof. Yeah, I get that.
In the last post, someone talked about a lawsuit for defamation, and you're absolutely right, but I just didn't have any intention or energy for something like that. I just wanted it to disappear faster than I could. And for the last point, someone asked me if I resented her for all of this mess, but actually I don't. What I feel for her is just pity and disappointment. The internet rage did the rest, even if I obviously don't approve of the hate and all the extreme parts. So that's it, and I really hope to not update you anymore about all of this mess. And comment 1 says, sounds like she didn't have shame to begin with, so all's well that ends well. But that's the end of that story.
I accused my girlfriend of cheating, and now I can't make up for it.
How much proof did you have?
Basically, my 28 male girlfriend, 24 female, was acting shady. By shady, I mean that she was on her phone a lot, making phone calls, and I saw payments from her cards for events and things I wasn't doing with her. By the way, this comes from user UniFaraB3, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you do in the comments. I waited it out a week or two, and the weirdness continued. She fell asleep, and I went through her phone and found bookings for a hotel at the weekend in a city a ways away, and tickets for some sporting event on that weekend. I woke her up and shoved the phone at her, demanding she explain. She looked distraught and said, "Do you really think I'd do that?" and began to cry. She then told me to look at the bookings properly, and when I did, my heart sank. We rarely got time off together, and she had booked me the weekend off through my boss as a surprise. Booked a hotel in the city I said I wanted to visit, and it just so happened my team were playing in that city that weekend, so she'd spend a good amount on tickets. She had also booked a table at my favorite restaurant. I instantly realized how stupid I had been, and I can't believe my first thought was that she would betray me when she's given me no reason to distrust her. It's kind of tainted the surprise weekend, and she's so disheartened. I've tried to apologize, but she's just shut off from me and is so hurt by my assumptions. How can I make this better? And we have some comments.
I don't know how you make this better. Yeah, I mean, you can apologize, but you one, snooped through her phone, you jumped to the final accusation of her cheating on you, and you showed her how dumb and insecure you are.
Your weird vibes from the setup of this story were just that, like, she's been on the phone and she's going places and doing things without you. That doesn't sound like very firm evidence at all. Hershey Kiss Nips says, there probably isn't much you can say to make this better instantly. Certainly apologize, not only for jumping to the conclusion, but for invading her privacy and going through her phone. You clearly understand why she is so upset. I think you need to do some soul searching to discover why you were quick to jump to her cheating. My guess is that you have some trust issues in your life in general and or some insecurities. She is personalizing this as you seeing something in her that would bring you to that conclusion, that she is someone who is dishonest or presents as someone who could cheat. You say in your post that is not the case, so where did that come from? If you can articulate that to her, take the blame from her and own it, and commit to working on whatever that issue is, you're taking a step in the right direction. Violent Delights XOX says, can anyone just take a sec and realize he somehow saw her bank payments too? Like, this is beyond wrongly accusing someone. This is invading her privacy and making her feel like utter crap because you couldn't just ask her what was going on. Instead of talking and voicing your concerns to her, you acted like a teenager and effed your relationship up. I don't know whether this is fixable, and you need to sit down and talk to her about it rather than asking strangers on the internet. I read your responses and decided to make a big apology to my girlfriend for how I behaved. However, before I got the chance, she arrived at the house. I'll hold my hands up and say that this isn't the first time I've jumped to conclusions, and pretty much since we've got together, I've had a habit of winding myself up and then checking her phone or accounts. I know it's wrong, but I always felt if I found something, I'd be justified, which is so messed up, I know. My ex did cheat on me. Well, she had an affair and left me for the other dude. I guess I projected this onto my current girlfriend. My girlfriend never ever has given me any reason to doubt her and treats me better than I've ever been treated before. She's down to earth, honest, open, funny, kind, beautiful, and she gives me the opportunity to share my thoughts and feelings with no judgment. I don't know why I assumed the worst of her. I really don't. To answer a common question, she has an online banking app on her phone, and it's the same passcode as her mobile, so I could log on. Super effed up. I know. When she arrived at the house, she was calm but sad. She explained that she knew I'd always check her phone and that I'd be off with her anytime she went out with friends, but that she always hoped over time if she proved herself, I'd let it go. When she found out that I'd done what I did, it hurt even more because she was trying to do something nice for me. She told me she loves me, but she finds herself justifying every activity she does, over-explaining herself, and told me she has real, genuine anxiety whenever she's out with friends because she knows I'll be at home imagining scenarios of where she could be. She found herself withdrawing from friends. She told me we were over. Not because she doesn't love me, because she can't devote her life to someone who only sees the worst in her. She told me that I could have just spoken to her and she'd be honest, but that she knows even if she did, I wouldn't believe her unless I could prove it. And she's probably right. I don't know why, but I know in myself I would not fully believe her because, I mean, of course she would say that, right? Anyway, she left me, packed up her things and went. I know her. She's a strong-minded woman. It really is over, and I've never felt worse. But she's right. I'm not ready to trust someone yet, and even in our last moments, she gave me the confidence and motivation to get help and be better, even if she won't be there to see the change. I know she loves me, and that fact alone makes it worth changing myself. And by the way, something that never changes is that you can listen to more full episodes with stories just like this one on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime. There is a little more story left.
LP, this is a big life lesson for you, and you know the issue. You know what you got to do. You got to just focus on yourself. You got to resolve this trauma, and it's hard, but you can't blame her. I don't think anyone blames her. She said the whole truth.
Let's finish this story. I'm not going to try and win her back because I can't promise I won't do it again. I'm heartbroken and hurt, but she verbalized it in such a way that it really hit home. She calmly explained it to me in a way that only showed me her true love for me. I'm just so sorry for hurting her, I guess. But thank you all for sharing your opinions and giving me some home truths. I appreciate it more than you know. This is it for now. Hopefully, this time next year, I'll be a new man and be able to treat the next woman who loves me the way my ex-girlfriend deserved to be treated. Well, at least you're moving on. I guess that's the right move.
This was a big wake-up call, OP. We wish you the best. I don't think right now the thought process of next partner, I feel like it needs to stem to you first before anything, of how you can trust and can you do this, because this is going to be a big problem in any relationship. So hopefully that can get resolved, or you can work on yourself, and then when the time is right and you find a partner, hopefully it gets better.
My husband planned an affair on a trip that I paid for.
Were you on the trip too? I hope not.
I am 32 female and my husband is 36 male. We've been married 2 years and together 9. And up until yesterday, I thought we were genuinely happy together. By the way, this comes from Throwaway WTF. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to our OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Vincent.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Back to OP, a bit of context. We have this thing where I change my name to random things on his phone every few months. They're always funny and well over the top. The last one was something like perfect human form. It's just a joke that has gone on for a few years. So yesterday he was in the shower and his work phone was out, so I changed my name in his contacts. As I did so, a notification from Snapchat came through with an image and a name of a woman he knew back home. He's from another country and moved here, the UK, around 10 years ago. As this was his work phone, it was really weird, so I clicked on it. It opened to a 5-day streak chat with this woman who's with seriously crude texts, photos of both of them, not the face, and them planning to meet up when he goes back. Dates, times, locations, and everything. She was even planning on taking a sick day from work. One of his D-pics was in our bed with me in the house.
No.
He is booked to go back for a few weeks, end of November, to see a very sick relative. I paid for his flights so he could see them before they passed. I had a panic attack and he walked out the shower to see me hyperventilating. I asked him why and how could he. He said it was only talking and that he'd been feeling neglected recently.
Also, liar, liar, your pants are burning off because they're on fire because you guys sent pictures too.
Yeah, you sent pictures back. And yeah, I asked how, and he said work has been stressful and that he just wanted someone who wanted him for him and that he doesn't feel like he's ever enough for me.
Well, you should figure out your insecurity then, buddy.
Yeah, I had no idea. He hasn't mentioned anything and nothing has changed. A few years ago, I think 3 or 4, when we first moved into our house, he shared that he sometimes didn't feel enough for me. We went to counseling and worked through it. A major effort was made on both of our sides to get through it, and I thought we had. The thing is, I know I can be hard work. I'm closer to a type A than type B. I'm pretty successful career-wise and not massively touchy-feely. But I'm not closed off and have never given a crap about his job or anything like that. I've been supporting him off and on 2 years when he took a career break and became an actor. For F's sake, he hasn't even paid towards a mortgage in 4 years, as I didn't want him to feel dependent on me / stretch his pay too thin. I don't know why I'm posting or what I'm expecting from this. I just don't know what to do. As I punned him out for now, but there are major logistics to deal with as I work away and we have 2 dogs. How do I navigate this? I absolutely consider this as cheating. How can I make sure I don't let myself forgive him? He's been in my life for almost 10 years. I've supported him in every way. Can I end it for a week of messages? How can I not end it after that? Sorry for all the questions. I know this post will still unanswered upon in the millions of I'm so surprised he cheated stories, but within 24 hours, my happy, hard-earned life is in flames, and I'm staring at the wreckage.
I hate the fact that we see emotional cheating, like some people see emotional cheating as like not actual cheating, because it fully is. It is still a complete, like, I can't even think of my word.
It's betrayal.
Betrayal, thank you,
Yeah.
of your trust in this person.
Mm.
They trust you wholeheartedly, and you're giving yourself in any way, emotionally, physically, through pictures that he sent away to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's unforgivable. I don't think you should. And I think if you can make sure to convince yourself not to, because I understand that is so hard after 10 years especially, like, give yourself the respect that you need to get out of it.
And I think that's the big thing. I like what you said, like, respect yourself enough.
Yeah.
Because if you let that slide,
It's gonna happen again.
Yeah, it's gonna happen again. And again, people respect you as much as you respect yourself.
Yeah.
So stand your ground on this one. Also, cancel his tickets. You bought them.
Genius.
Cancel his tickets.
I
Be a
hope-
little
I
vindictive.
hope
You
had
deserve
flight
it.
insurance, or change them.
Yeah. Or
Change
no,
them
you.
to a really inconvenient time.
Yeah. Switch the flight to a place that you want to go and take the dogs. Okay.
I'm
Comment.
taking the dog.
Comment from Crazy Dixie. I would cancel his flight ticket for sure.
There you go.
Hey, Crazy Dixie, I love you. He is feeling down but not doing anything about it. He's planning to F someone else because his ego was stroked. What about your love and devotion? Yeah, it is difficult, but You can do it. And even if you don't divorce him, think about the fact that he actually needs to prove that he is sorry about what he did and not because he was caught. If there is no explanation, the trust will not go back to the way it was. It happened to me with my husband. Even now, after 7 years, I don't know why he cheated. I don't trust him, and we regularly argue about anything. Okay, Sarah, I cancel return flight. Commenter yada yada ab00 says, in this hotel, you gotta stop laughing.
Cancel both of them.
And commenter Melodrama says, cheaper to pay a dog sitter than subsidize a worthless man. Update. 1 month later.
Ooh.
Hi, everyone. Almost 5 weeks later, and after how helpful so many of you have been, I want to give you an update. To start it off, many of you said he'd been cheating for longer or had done so before. You were right.
Oh.
I originally believed that he'd been cheating for a week, but due to a particularly noticeable carpet in a hotel room of the D-pics were taken in, I found out it has been going on for at least a month. He, of course, denied it and lied when confronted, but that month included our 9-year anniversary. Oh, no.
Tomato at this man.
Tomatoes, all the rotten fruit. And countless other events, so it was really, really useful to stop me blaming myself. He is still adamant that it's never happened before, and I do believe him, but that didn't stop me from taking an STI test just in case. All clean, thank goodness.
Thank God.
He also admitted to lying about them having a previous relationship, and I caught him in another lie about the Snapchat messages. So he stayed true to form. Since I punted him, we've only spoken twice. He left the dogs, so I guess they're my dogs now, and wants a percentage of my house. I can't speak for other countries, but in the UK, marriage for enough years entitles you to half of everything, regardless of who contributed to what. Under advice from a lawyer, we're staying amicable, so he only takes the agreed amount and leaves my pension, savings, etc. alone. On the dogs, I've gotten a load more dog sitters, and I've agreed to let them stay with him while I'm away, with work as long as he covers most of their costs. Outside of this, I did the usual, change the locks, cancel his flights, threw out all his stuff on bin day, and had a full-blown breakdown as a crying, wasted. I have great friends who are supportive, but he's the only family I have/had. So I've started seeing a therapist as well to help the process of moving forward. I'm taking this as an opportunity for a full reset and evaluation of what I want. So I'm trying to move jobs, sell my house, to move closer to my friends, and get a load of dental work that I've been putting off. Good for you. Throw in some injured dogs and, oh, I'm sorry your dogs are injured. And it's turned out to be a truly horrific month. Honestly, it sucked, but I'm rebuilding my life to be something I choose, and it's getting easier week by week. By the way, you know what else is super easy? Finding more episodes of OK Storytime. You can listen to us and full episodes with the stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime.
Do it.
Yeah,
There'll be stories. There'll be episodes. Months worth.
There's another relevant update, but let's discuss.
Good for you. I'm so glad that you are done with him.
Kim Foyne said, what if you met a 28-year-old unemployed nanny? That's literally me. That's literally me. Don't come at me.
Is that a reference to a movie that just came out? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's my life.
But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard in those first couple months, especially with all of that going on. But it's going to be for the better. You still have your whole life in front of you. And talk to your lawyer and see how you can get more of that stuff in your name.
That's unfortunate that that's the laws there, but
see how you can see how you can make sure he doesn't get too much of what you've worked so hard for.
Yeah.
Because right now he don't deserve it.
Not at all.
All right. So let's get back into it. OP says, thank you all so much for your help and comments when I first posted. Seeing the overwhelming support and brutal comments against both him and me put it into perspective and was enough to convince me that I wasn't crazy for overthinking this. I'm massively grateful for the dose of reality. And don't worry, to all of you who called me a doormat, thank you for that. I won't be taking him back or allowing anyone else to take advantage of me like that again. Good. May the force be with you, random Reddit strangers, and thank you again. Cat-like creature, I'm so curious, how has this been for him, and how did he react? Was he sad? Trying to make it right? Heartbroken? Without remorse? OP. Very, very sad. He spent the first few weeks feeling really sorry for himself and, quote-unquote, in shock. He stopped blaming anything except himself, I think due to the therapist, and going down the route of saying it was self-sabotage/depression, and he needs to work on himself for a bit. I agree. This may all be very true, and to be honest, I kind of think it is. But he hasn't tried to reconcile or even make much of an effort to fight, not begging to chat or turning up, no suggestion of couples counseling, etc. Just kind of rolled over and has been licking his wounds. Commenter StinkEye63. Can he still get half the house even if he hasn't contributed anything for 4 years? Yep. It's a law I genuinely agree with to protect stay-at-home parents. Apparently, the law doesn't differentiate between that and someone who wanted to try acting.
Dang.
That's funny.
Dang.
You know, as an actor myself, I feel a little attacked. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, that's tough. And that's another thing. In relationships, I've been in a relationship for a while. I understand when like sometimes one person has to carry more, but I like to try to keep it 50-50 as most.
It's a general balance. It can
Yeah.
waver one way, it can waver the other way, but
Yeah.
you hope that it comes back to mostly the middle.
Yeah, balance is always important in a lot of things. All right. According to Pizza 8484, also, who made the down payment? I'd get all your receipts and ducks in a row, at least fight him getting a cent more than he's legally entitled to. OP and 2 lawyers agree. I am staying amicable and trading the house for the rest. I don't want his debt either. Also on the table legally. Ugh. So compromise is the aim of the game. And that's it.
My son discovered our open marriage arrangement, and he's been different ever since.
I would be too.
So, for context, we've been open for 3 years. My husband and I are very happy, and we have been careful not to fall into the traps of breaking rules or boundaries. By the way, this comes from user Parents Who Need Advice and user throwaway 24372833237. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we are here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't know all the answers, okay? So just let us know what you would do in the comments. We're going to let you know what we would do right now. And OP says, as a couple, we are doing fine. He has met some wonderful people, and so have I, who have become close friends to us. We have been very lucky since we have avoided any bad actors so far, at least. 2 months ago, my son told my husband that he apparently believed I was cheating on him. I'm guessing he must have found out about one of my partners. My husband told me, and we decided to talk to him and reassure him that we as a couple were doing fine, that we loved him, and nothing was going to change. He seemed very anxious to have that conversation end, and I don't blame him, since it was awkward, even for us, to have to explain. Yeah, of course it's awkward!
Yeah, how do you even, have that conversation? And plus, are you, trying to keep it from, your son? I feel like, he doesn't really need to know if, but obviously if you're not careful about it.
I thought the conversation went as well as it could with a teenage boy because he seemed calm, just said, okay, and never brought it up again. Yeah, I'm sure he put that in a box and buried it under his bed and tried his hardest to forget it. Last week, one of my partners stopped by because I needed to borrow something, and he stopped by again last Saturday to deliver it. My son was at home, and my partner greeted him as he always does. They both enjoy music and have pretty much the same taste. My partner asked him about a band that was supposed to be playing. My son responded, yeah, I don't care. I know why you're really here, so don't talk to me. And then walked out.
That's fire.
That's honestly baller. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. I don't know. You're just here to crack my mom. It's okay. I had told my partner that we had informed our son about our lifestyle, but not with whom, of course, and I had no idea he knew who I was seeing. He's the only one of my partners that he knows, and we have never done anything in our house. We have no idea how my son came to find out. He blocked my partner on Facebook and hardly speaks that much to me or my husband anymore. He now views everyone with suspicion, including my husband's best friend, who has no idea we are non-monogamous. He is, of course, a teenager, but he has never acted in this way before and refuses to talk to anybody. We have put our lifestyle on hold and have not seen anyone since that outburst, nor do we plan to until we find some way to resolve this. I honestly want to ask for advice on how to handle this, and if anyone else has had to have this difficult conversation with their sons or daughters. And there are some relevant comments. To center this in and not try to make a joke right now, you are in a very hard position. And I think you have to first get clear with your son about, hey, I can tell you have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this, which is very fair and not wrong. So I want to get clear on what they are. And then we can try to get to a place where everyone can be comfortable in our home again. Because at the end of the day, you and your partner are two consenting adults who are married and have made this arrangement, and it works for you. Okay. When asked how old the son is, he is 15. He'll be 16 in a few weeks, actually, which he reminded me of when he said he didn't want to celebrate his birthday. He just seems anxious, and he now only eats when we are done so he can eat by himself. And we tried something stupid, and that was to say to him that he should sit down and eat with us and that his behavior was not acceptable. But then he refused to eat altogether and only ate at school, and even brought food from school in his backpack and ate in his room. Tora Ryder says, that's a pretty extreme response, to be honest. When I was about his age, I had a massive reveal in my family as well. It made me distrust a lot of people, but after a bit, my grandmother basically got to the point that she couldn't talk to me, so I needed to see someone. I resented being put in therapy for about a month. My grandma made it clear that she loved me and was there for me, but whatever was happening was something she could see I didn't want to discuss with her. But holding in the pain and anger and betrayal is unhealthy. My therapist eventually got me to a point where I could have a discussion with those who were involved in the big issue. It was hard and awkward, but it worked. I was about 13 at the time, so a bit younger. Is there a parent he's closer to? Could one of you offer to sit with him, just you all, and present your concerns? Son, your parent and I are worried about you. We know the reveal is hard, and we don't expect you to accept and love this situation, but we've been this way for a while. If you won't talk with us about it, is there someone you can? We are worried about you. Something like that. Also, it may just be a situation of wait it out, depending on how long this is going to go on. OP replies, he just seems dead set on keeping quiet and refuses to engage with us, and it seems he has decided to keep his head down. There is one adult, but me and my husband are hoping to God he does not share this with him, and that is my husband's brother, who is the polar opposite of my husband. My husband's brother is like all men in my husband's family, military or former military. It's a military family, and my father-in-law gave my husband a lot of grief when he was my son's age because he broke tradition and became an academic. However, my father-in-law treats like a son almost. I just pray he doesn't mention this to them. And also, we have not told him not to tell them. He is free to tell whomever he wants. We can't really control it at this point. We're just waiting for my brother-in-law to find out, which I suspect is just a matter of time. How did the son find out? OP says, I don't blame him for finding out because I think I know how since I remember he borrows my iPad from time to time. And if I had stupidly forgot to log out of my other account, which I never forget, but I might have once, I don't even want to think about what he saw. Oh, the horror!
Yikes!
The horror!
I saw my mom cracking.
OP on having partners in the house. We never have people running in and out of the house at all. The one partner I mentioned is the only one since my son has known him for many years, as we have done. He is the same age as my husband, and my husband trusts him, and so do I. He's been a family friend that happens to be my partner. He is in an open relationship as well. His wife is aware of me, and there have been no dramas between us. He's the only one who stops by, which he does once in a while, but never for the spice of sleep, and certainly not on a Saturday afternoon with my son home. We usually find a place to be together outside of our home to precisely avoid this, and my husband does the same with his partners. On how the son is acting, yeah, he is not really rude either, That one comment towards my partner is really the only real comment that he has made. He's not rude, he just doesn't want to talk to us about anything anymore. I tried carefully to ask him how his day was, and he just said fine, and those are the answers I've been getting. Either yes or no answers, and fine. He used to talk to me about difficult things, and now he just seems to have lost all trust in me and his father. My husband has tried to talk to him as well, but he does not want to share anything with him either. I Caught Fire says, kind of a nightmare situation for me as our son is getting older. The wife and I have very different views on open marriage, and I see this conversation exploding. Hope the best for you as I have to see this in our future. OP says, yeah, it's been hard. He's going to be 18 in 2 years, and he seems to want to do one thing just to spite me, and that is join the army. He knows I'm a pacifist and don't want him in the army. My husband's brother is in the service, and he was always very similar to him in many ways. I hope we can resolve this, and hopefully that he understands in 2 years. Because I have a feeling he has just decided to keep his head down, which is how he's been acting, avoiding me and my husband as much as possible while focusing on himself, and then just stay quiet until he turns 18 so he can run off to the army. I'm terrified, and mean no disrespect to those that serve. I'm just terrified of him joining for the wrong reasons, especially if it's to spite me and his father. And there is an update, and I agree, that would be the dumbest reason anyone could possibly join the military.
Yeah.
To bother your parents.
I'm going to show them.
I'm going to show them for signing up for the worst job on the face of the planet. War. And again, not disrespecting any service members. It's just, you need to know that that's what you're signing up for. You're signing up for the thing that everyone says is like the worst thing ever. Hey, and thank you for serving, but this kid's not thinking right about that. 6 months later, I just wanted to say that the last few months have been difficult. You don't say. He's been giving us the silent treatment except when we ask him to do anything like chores or homework. I can't complain too much since he cleans his room, does the dishes when it's his turn, and for a teenage boy is very responsible. But he seems to be keeping his head down and refuses to engage with us. He has at least decided he can sit at the same table with us and eat dinner again, which took 3 months to happen. We tried after 2 months since writing the post to slowly ease him into the conversation and explain things, but he was not very receptive and did not respond to anything we were saying. We also apologized if he felt lied to and told him sorry that he was led to believe I had been cheating on his father, and assured him that I love his father and we are not splitting up. He had known about my partner for quite a while, longer than I realized. He had known for almost 4 months and had been agonizing over how to tell his father. In that time, a lot of anger and resentment towards me had been festering. He at least answers his father now in full sentences, but with me, he's keeping me at arm's length. I think the way he found out and believed for so long that I cheated, coupled with not knowing what to do and being scared to tell his father, caused a lot of damage. Not to mention, the kid is 16.
Yeah, that's a lot to process at 16.
Put him in therapy. Be like, we're going to put you into therapy, and you can tell them exactly how much you dislike me.
That's true.
We're sending you to therapy so you could say all of the negative things that you need to get off your chest about me. When his father said, I know, and it's okay, she's not cheating, it was probably a lot to handle. Instead of being relieved, he felt lied to and humiliated by all the pain he endured, believing I had cheated. I understand that now, but it has been very hard since I have not been able to even give him a hug in a long time. I touched his shoulder to remind him of something, and he froze and looked really uncomfortable. So that's the update. Not really happy, sorry to say, and it's been hard. We've stopped all dates since, obviously, but I'm not sure what more I can do except give him space and hope he finally decides to speak to me again. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to podcasts, just search OK Storytime. And you've got a whole mountain of episodes to listen to. Oh, there's one more update from 3 months later. I gotta say, it does seem like his reaction is very extreme.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think but also everyone processes things in different ways. But I do think that he's taking this to another level of I don't understand and I need someone to blame. And my mom is the bad person in this, because she's cheating or she's seeing someone else. She's being, the bad person in this situation. He's not giving anyone a chance to kind of explain the situation, but also as a teenager, like, you're not going to understand it anyway. So I think he's just like, nah, I've made up my mind. I don't like you anymore. And like, that is such a teenage thing to do.
Very true. 3 months later. Hi, OP here. Well, a year later, he at least talks normally to his father, but he is still keeping me at arm's length. I literally have not been able to give him a hug since before this happened. He finally opened up to my husband about what exactly he discovered, and it was a picture of me and one of my partners taken at a resort. My husband tried to explain, and I apologized to him for what he saw because I was the one who said it was okay to use the iPad, and I did not close the tabs or log out of my account. He has not acted out, but he seems to have closed off from me completely and only me. He talks to everyone normally now except me, so that's the update. And that is the end of that story. I think your son needs therapy to figure out how to deal with that.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't know
Truly.
how to express how he feels towards you.
My husband cheated during our son's treatment, so I took everything.
What?
My husband and I have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 2, the oldest of which has cancer. The mistress has 2 kids, 4 and 20. My husband and I have had the occasional conflict here and there, and while I acknowledge it can sometimes be a struggle, we generally got along well and always apologized by the end. By the way, this comes from throwaway 070689, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, though the conflicts we had were only occasional, they did sometimes feel like a lose-lose situation because neither of us felt like our feelings were being heard due to defense mechanisms and other triggers. I had asked several times if we could see a therapist and work out some better conflict resolution skills, and he always said he wanted to think about it, but never actually agreed. I decided to attend individual therapy to work on my own resolution skills. Despite this, we had what I perceived to be an otherwise pretty happy and loving relationship full of laughter and connectedness. Unfortunately, this week, my husband unexpectedly told me he has fallen out of love with me and that he wants a divorce on my birthday. He said it was because of how we handle conflict together, and he's known for a couple of years that it was inevitable. I was completely blindsided by this because I would often periodically check in to see if he was happy, and he had always said yes. He said brutal things about dreading being in the room with me and being intimate with me. I was absolutely shattered. He became so harsh and cold that it was like he was a different person. He has never talked to me like that in 16 years. He said he wanted 50-50 custody of my kids, and I was crushed because my babies are my entire life. Friends and family were concerned that he was cheating. I work 12-hour shifts and rely on my husband to do school pickups, but lately he was frequently working through lunches, which left my parents to pick up the kids. He also worked late and would delay picking my kids up from their grandparents' house for a couple of hours. I was always so appreciative of how hard he worked for our family. I didn't want to believe it, but when I checked his phone, I discovered everything. Lots of new photos from both of them. Videos of them having spicy sleep at work. Videos of them having spicy sleep in hotels. Face selfies of my husband waiting in my son's chemo room. Conversations about arguments my husband and I had, and the mistress responding and saying that I had to get an effing clue and that she was happy he was able to put it back on me. I screenshotted everything and sent them to myself before I confronted him. Turns out he is in love with his mistress and wants to be with her. He said it's complicated and that she has not told her husband about the affair. It's been going on for over a year. My son was literally diagnosed with his cancer in September, and I'm honestly sick to my stomach knowing what he has done throughout that time. Despite it all, I am completely devastated to lose him. His conversations with her look like a completely different person. Never in a million years would I have guessed that that was him. I sent him away to sleep in his work office that night, but the following day he called and said he wants to be with his kids and be at the house indefinitely until we finalize the divorce. He has a right to be in his own home, but being around him has been making me physically ill. I am absolutely miserable, clueless on where to start and heartbroken watching him leave the house and knowing where he is going. I've told him that legally I am still his wife and that I do not want him talking to his mistress at all while he is under my roof or around the kids. He has agreed to do that, but he has been so deceptive that it doesn't mean much to me anymore.
I can't imagine being stuck in this situation for months or longer. He even had the nerve to ask me if his mistress can be around my kids. I am so furious, so sad, so distressed, and just feel like I want to pass away. My kids don't know what's going on yet, but they have been sensing that I've been distressed. I'm trying to hold it together and lean on family and friends. I'm also super stressed out about losing our home. My husband is wanting to sell it, and my parents have mentioned they may be able to buy him out. I haven't told my husband this because I need to figure out how that might work, and I don't want to make his life any easier at this point. My credit is meh, and interest rates are so high, though, that I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my low interest rate from when I bought that home a few years ago if they were to buy him out. It's all just too much to lose at once. I can't eat. I've lost 10 pounds in 1 week. I can't sleep. I've never been so depressed in my entire life. In 1 week, almost every single aspect of my life has been threatened. Someone tell me it gets better because I'm barely hanging on. And we do have an update, but please, I'm sure it gets better.
It does. I've read stories of whenever people break up and it works out for them.
Yeah.
Hang in there. This is rock bottom. This is literal rock bottom.
Yeah.
You're looking for hope.
Terrible thing that's happened to you.
Oh my God, guys. How did you guys deal with breakups? Put it in the comments. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and divorces and people cheating.
Golly,
Similar
man.
situations. I mean, it's got to get better. There's no way that your
Oh, yeah.
life around a terrible person is the best it's going to be.
Yo, no, it
You know?
will get better. It will get better.
Yeah, it's going to suck for a while, but you will get over it and you will get custody of your children because, hey, what? What?
If that mistress comes around, I have a baseball bat with her name on it.
There you go. There you go. Do you have an update on Dear Mistress? Over 1 month later. It's been a few weeks since I found out about your affair with my husband. I recently read the messages you shared with my husband during the most vulnerable and painful conflict of my life. I saw what you wrote about how you felt I should get an effing clue and that you were happy that my husband was able to put it back on me. I would like to share with you what exactly was on the line during that conversation and why I was so shocked and devastated by it. In an instant, everything I have loved for the last 16 years was taken from me. When he mentioned divorce, it was a complete blindside. That word had never come up in this entire length of our relationship together. I'm not blind to the fact that conflict was sometimes a struggle. It was something we were working on, and we regularly made an effort to try to listen and apologize. I was also prioritizing therapy to help improve our conflict resolution skills and identify any unhealthy defense mechanisms that we had. Whenever I asked him to try therapy, he always said he wanted to think about it, but ultimately he never did. Outside of that, we had what I had perceived to be an overall happy relationship full of love, friendship, and laughter. When I was uncertain how he was feeling, I would ask him, and he always said he was happy and that he loved me. It is clear now that he was lying, but at the time, all I had was his word and his actions to go off of. The day he mentioned divorce, I was suddenly facing the potential to lose the love of my life, my best friend, my home, and the livelihood of my 3 babies with no warning. I'm sure you can imagine how that might feel. Imagine now that your life is crumbling before you, and then you are left in darkness for days, uncertain whether it all lives or ends. This is how I felt during the conversation that my husband retold you. I was terrified of losing my family. I couldn't eat or sleep. All I thought about was what it meant for my kids and my 16-year relationship. Each day that went by, my husband repeated that he was too tired to talk. After a couple of days of this, I needed answers for the sake of my family. I see that you wrote how aggravated you were that my emotions and feelings needed to be addressed immediately for my own relief. Sincerely, I hope you never have to go through the terror of this same ordeal. Never in my life have I felt such overwhelming pain and sadness. Ever. But thank you for your input anyway. I am writing this letter from one woman to another now. My husband made the choice to be unfaithful in our marriage. He is the one that chose to violate that promise, and I always will hold him accountable for that. That being said, you should also know that your affair with him has destroyed an entire family. My sons are sensing the distress in the air and have been asking where their dad is. They wait to eat dinner with him until their food gets cold because they want to eat as a family. They have been frequently asking why he is so late. I also rely on my husband to pick up the kids from school on the days that I work and have noticed that lately he has had to work through lunches
and stay late, which left my older parents to have to pick them up from school and take care of them for hours longer than they expected to, while the boys waited for the dad. And I, reading that, remembering that some of the videos of them having spicy sleep were taken at work.
Yup, that's why I was there so late. He was laying some pipe.
It was working all right.
The janitor said, hey, we need someone to help us lay some pipe for our new water system. And he said, sign me up.
Oh my gosh.
I know how to lay pipe.
Getting into the movie business. Now I know why he was always late, but they don't. The kids don't understand why. The oldest son is also going through chemo treatments and pending assessments for autism. He doesn't respond well to change, and we have been very concerned with how this news will affect his condition and recovery. If he relapses after this situation, you should know that I will blame you for it. My 2-year-old has been crying almost constantly and clinging to us as we try to leave. He is a baby and was under a year old when you started this. But they pick up on more than you think. My 6-year-old asked why his dad wasn't there in the morning, and I had to lie to him and tell him that he was working early. I also want to thank you for the lovely surprise of realizing that I needed to make an appointment to check for STDs as a grown married adult. My husband has been intimate with me throughout your entire affair. I know you are also married, and so it's safe to assume that you have also been intimate with your husband all this time too. I just don't know why you wouldn't rather use the strength of your womanhood to further your sisters. Instead, you have chosen the cowardly route of tearing other women down to further your own ends. You know that he is a married man, and you laugh about it. He just had a baby, and he has a wife and 3 kids. I just don't understand what kind of self-respecting woman would do something like this. You have caused me so much pain and sorrow. I could never do this to another human being. You should tell your husband before I do it for you.
Oh,
There's a second update.
dude, this
Whoa.
letter, I have never heard a letter so devastating before.
Yeah, it was so thorough
Yep,
and to the point.
hit everything.
Hit everything.
Felt like I was the woman that cheated on your husband.
Right? Like, I should say sorry. Like, dang.
Gosh,
I really hope
man.
she read the letter. Because one thing about this is that it is long. But
Well,
there's
I
a
don't
lot
think
to
this
address.
was really for the mistress. It was more for
Yeah.
OP.
Yeah, she probably. I don't even know if she sent it.
Who not? She put
Maybe-
on Reddit. She probably sent her a link.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're about to find out in the second update.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Oh my gosh. So this second update is from 15 months later. First and foremost, my son is officially cancer free. He rang the bell of chemo completion at the end of 2024. He is healthy and living a normal childhood now with his siblings. I am truly so grateful. I took the advice of many on here and got the best attorney in town. Called multiple other high talent ones as well to get consultations, as I was told it would then be a conflict of interest for them to work with my husband at that point. Interesting. I filed for divorce in August 2024, and the divorce was final in November. My attorney told me everything to say to my ex and was a secret ghostwriter of my paperwork. He never even knew that I had an attorney. I told my ex at the time that I was trying to puzzle through the best housing scenario for our kids. My oldest child was still going through his chemo treatments and is also autistic, so he doesn't adjust well to change. I knew if we sold the house, the boys would lose their childhood home and also change the schools, which would be rough on them. By the grace of God, my ex voluntarily offered to walk away from the house and forego hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity in the home if I paid off his debts. He had maybe $30,000 in debt and a car payment, so my incredible parents helped me pay him off, and we essentially bought him out of his portion of the house while still keeping my low interest rate from the time we purchased. My ex didn't have a hint of remorse up until this point, but I think he finally realized the effect all of this would have on his children. He was also heavy in his affair fog and probably just wanted to wash his hands of me as fast as possible. So when he offered to walk from the house, that was the time I ran to get an attorney and make sure it was done correctly. We talked to title companies at first, but the attorney told me it was not necessary to do that, that my ex could sign an interspousal transfer deed along with our stipulated judgment, and the house would be legally mine. My ex and the affair partner are still together. He has told my kids that he has a girlfriend and plans to move in with her and my kids in April. I have the kids in weekly therapy and they are doing well with it. My ex decided that he didn't actually want 50-50 custody, and I have 70% custody of them. So my ex essentially gets them every other weekend and one random overnight weeknight a week. That was his idea. It was hard to be away from my babies, but I tried to remind myself that they were safe and happy with their dad and used that time to focus on myself. He also pays me a large amount of child support every month because of this requested custody arrangement. Not sure he ever realized this, but it is very helpful. I have revamped my home and redecorated it to make it my sanctuary. I absolutely love it. My ex is renting an apartment in a cheaper part of town. The affair partner's husband is now aware of the circumstances, and they are in the process of completing their divorce. I am personally doing very well now. I lost a significant amount of weight and go to the gym regularly. I also go to church and therapy every week. I have heavily poured into my self-growth and have become a completely different person, full of peace and contentment.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Yeah.
Dude, being with Jesus during this time, oh my gosh, I can only imagine the type of growth you've had.
Oh.
Because, like, the Jesus is big on, like, love your enemies.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you love your husband even more than before you were married.
Sure. I also regularly invest in beauty treatments that make me feel happy, like hairs, nails, lashes, and my confidence has never been higher.
Honestly, really good.
That's great.
Because, I don't know, it's not, I've heard some women, like, they don't really work on the way they look or, like, things like that. And that's not a bad thing, but, like, it just... The fact that you're not, like, keeping up with yourself or, like, taking that time to, like, you know,
Have fun. Yeah.
have fun or whatever, it really chomps at, like, your confidence. For a
Totally.
guy, I have to be competitive. If I'm not in a competitive, like, field or anything,
Yeah.
it chips away my confidence because it's like, I don't
Yeah.
know, that's what I have.
My ex still tries to trigger me and speaks in a condescending tone on a regular basis. I took the advice of some people on here and Grey Rock the crap out of him. He truly doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. It's like I've pulled an Uno reverse and he can't process it. Between my mental growth and my physical changes, he always looks visibly confused. On the bright side, the affair partner gained a bunch of weight, and it has been fun to hear people's commentary on that. Normally, I'm a total girl's girl, but after the way she treated me, I will secretly relish in that. I decided it was important to keep conversations with my kids regarding my ex's relationship with the affair partner age appropriate. They don't know about the way the relationship started, but if they are older and they ever ask, I will be honest with them. I am now dating someone new. It's been a little scary to be back out there, but I'm trying to trust in time, consistency, emotional intelligence, and high effort. You all deserve the same. Truly, I am so grateful for every single one of you. I was self-harming for some time, but I saw a psychiatrist and started some meds, and it has changed my life. The darkness gets easier, my loves. Hang in there and message me if any of you ever need anything. God bless you all. If you need anything, you can just listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to this story. It's OP responding to a comment.
Oh, okay.
You don't hear the comment.
Yeah, dude, it gets better. Earlier, we were like, doesn't get any better.
Here we are.
But
we got answers.
The reason it got better is because, one, you invested in yourself.
Yes.
And really grew. And like, I heard a quote. It was like, what happened to you isn't your responsibility. It's how you grow from it is your responsibility.
Totally.
A lot of things that happen to people are very unfair, but that's your responsibility is how you move from that.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And it's one of the worst things about life. But also, I think it's a two-edged sword. One, you grow. And then two, you can reach out to people who are also going through this and show support.
Yeah. And she's doing exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I've been in a bad relationship and I know what that looks like. If I ever see anyone in that, I could be like, hey, this is my experience.
Exactly.
You don't deserve to be in that.
Exactly. It's very easy to fall into bad habits and meet people and be in relationships that are the exact same as your old one and bad in the same exact way. So good on you for doing the complete opposite, which is take care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So OP is responding to the question, is OP's ex's family still present in the children's lives? OP says, my ex occasionally takes them to see his mom, who has started to have some memory problems, but sadly, he was never great about calling or making plans. She was so upset when she found out about the affair that she wanted to change her trust to my name. I had to convince her not to do that. I was pretty close with his mom, so I still talk to her here and there. She's my kid's grandmother and a sweet lady. OP explains more about people's commentary on the affair partner's weight gaining. OP says, sure, the weight comments specifically were from friends who knew about the cheating and had seen pictures of her at the start of the affair. Once my ex started posting her, people started messaging me saying she clearly had gained a lot of weight. I just laughed and shrugged it off. But yeah, it looks like she has gained 40 or 50 pounds. I've literally seen that girl's freaking private parts from all her super fun pics, so I remember it. My ex and I had a ton of mutual friends, and so even though I didn't follow his posts and stories anymore, our friends had a tendency to tell me about them or send them to me. One of my favorites that comes to mind is when a mutual friend messaged me a photo and said, wait, I'm sorry, is this who he left you for? I thought this was his mom. Another time, my heavily accented elderly neighbor brought me tomatoes and told me that she saw the girl waiting in the car the day he was moving out and that my neighbor gave her the biggest stink eye. Then she said in her English accent, ugly, ugly girl. And love me an angry old lady. And that's the end of that story.
Yay! The best ending. It's like, you know when a kid's movie ends with like a dance scene? This is like an adult movie ending with like a stink eye from an old lady.
Right.
From a lovely old lady.
Like
it's like,
a sassy
oh my
old
God.
lady.
It has the same effect on me. My husband chose my friend over me, and it was the best thing ever.
Go, be with her.
I've 30 females suspected some things have been going on for a while now, but kept brushing it off. I thought my husband, 31 male, would never do that to me. Since around April, he's been refusing my attempts to have spicy sleep most of the time. Sitting differently on the couch so he wasn't facing away from me. Just little things. By the way, this comes from Oh Who Asked Me, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. That's our only job. And your job is to comment if you have anything you want to say. OP says, it was with one of our good friends. She came to my house a few weeks ago. She had texted me. She had pretended to be there for me. I found out because I rolled over and they were having a Snapchat conversation.
You're getting so many stories about Snapchat. Who's doing that?
Dude, that's like the most nefarious app you can be on.
Yeah, disappearing messages.
She said she wished she could be there to hold him. And he summarized that I tried to seduce him last night and mocked it. I confronted him, and he admitted it. He said it was because quarantine was stressful. He did not want to work things out. He thought of me only as a friend in his heart. When I told her husband, he confronted her. Apparently, they actually kissed back in February.
Ooh.
I think at that moment, I was never going to be enough for him. We used to be so happy. The week before they kissed, we celebrated Valentine's Day together. He bought us a nice bottle of wine for our anniversary. We had fun. We were perfect. I don't know where to go from here. We had been married for only about a year. I feel like he took so much from me and didn't even want to go to therapy or work this out. I didn't want to leave my house, but everywhere in it, I saw him. He chose her. I had been cheated on in every relationship I had ever been in. He was supposed to be my forever. I didn't know what to do. I had made therapy appointments, but I was also laid off last month, so I had so much free time to analyze every single moment where he might have been lying to me, where I had made myself pathetic, trying to cling to him. How do I start to get through this? Update, about 4 months later. First of all, I just want to thank everyone here for the support I received for the following for my first post back in August. At the time, it truly felt like my world was ending. It was important to me to make this update because I need to tell everyone who is currently going through the same thing. It gets better. Yeah, you were literally at the rock bottom.
Yeah, it definitely gets better.
You will get so much better. I had one conversation with my husband since everything had happened by his choice. It lasted maybe 5 minutes and was like talking to a robot. I know from others that he cries to people about how he ruined his life, but I never once gotten an apology or the same show of regret. At this point, I don't care. I know him and the other woman are still seeing each other, and frankly, they deserve each other. Good for them. While I still feel angry occasionally, I no longer mourn for once I once had. Instead, I'm so excited for the life I now get to live. I moved to a small, walkable city, gave myself my dream apartment. It makes me so happy to see how I've decorated it, and I live in a cozy place instead of our old, dreary house. I was the breadwinner in our marriage, and he would make me feel awful about wanting to pay for nice meals or do fun things. Since moving here,
I've done a ton of foodie fun stuff and don't feel guilty. It's so refreshing. I've dipped my toe into the dating pool again and had plenty of mediocre dates from dating apps. Recently, I found someone who I've really clicked with and am now enjoying how appreciated and desired he makes me feel. It's definitely early and we're moving slow, but overall, dating has made me realize that I am a catch who doesn't have to settle. Therapy has done wonders and I'm so happy I immediately dove into it. My therapist is proud of me. I'm proud of me. I've stopped looking at being divorced as a failure. He failed me, not me. I'm genuinely happy and excited to wake up each morning and no longer feeling like this terrible weight is sitting on my chest. The holidays were surprisingly easy, and I found myself so happy to spend time with my family without having to compromise anything. So all in all, life is so good, and there's so much ahead of it. Looking back, I can't believe I wasted so much time thinking about how I could get him to come home. I've made my own home and my own happiness, and that was so worth it, so much more. I think this is just a sign, all of those who are in relationships and feel this kind of weight that you don't want to have, to maybe, I don't know,
Drop it.
look,
Drop it.
there's more life out there.
Yeah.
OP was 30,
'Cause, yeah.
was in a
married.
marriage for a year, he cheated. Dude, OP's turning around.
Yeah, because I feel like that's always the thing. It's like it's so scary to end a relationship, even though you know you should, you know you need to. But at the off chance that you're wrong, then now you're going to be lonely and miss them, you know? But then it's like every time that happens and someone actually does break up, they're like, oh my God, I cannot believe I was dealing with that. I'm doing so much better.
Yeah.
Because we're made to adapt.
We are.
And that's what you do after a breakup. You adapt and you move on.
Wow. I can't believe this happened over 5 years ago now. In some ways, it feels like it happened to me in a different life. I still get messages asking about this and figured I could add some insight about how my life looked a few years down the line after everything gets completely and utterly wrecked. Good news, if you put in the work, it looks pretty incredible. First of all, where is my ex-husband now? I haven't had contact with him since September 2020 and largely don't keep track of things. But I see that this man still follows me on Instagram and watches all of my stories. I consider blocking him, but I just let it be. I think it's the petty part of me who's living a full life and is fine with rubbing it in a bit. He and the affair partner did get married after having a whoopsie kid, and I'm pretty sure they had another, but they also both lost their jobs as teachers. He got her a job at his school, so she was working with an entire staff that knew they had an affair. I had to move to the middle of nowhere. Last I heard of them, the affair partner had been texting his former best friend unhinged rants about not including them in get-togethers or allowing my ex-husband to be a groomsman in his wedding. But enough about them, because they already took up way too many pages in my story. When we last left off, I think I had just moved into the city, shout out Richmond, Virginia, and was largely just trying to find myself again. I think the change of scenery was the best thing I did for myself. I was never meant to live in the suburbs, and moving to a beautiful little city where I can walk to coffee shops, bakeries, and bookstores honestly helped my mental health as much as the therapy. I bought a house here a couple years ago and have settled in. Then I got a puppy, a corgi, named Bilbo Baggins, who really is the true love of my life. He's the greatest thing to happen to me and is such a fantastic, chunky guy. We go to a local dog park with a bar all the time, and he has his own little dog social group. Kids aren't something I plan on, so basically he's my son. It hasn't been all perfect. My dad passed away, my best friend moved across the country, and I largely haven't really been dating much over the past couple of years. Dating hasn't been a huge priority for me, and my friends say that I'm probably too picky. I say that I know what it's like to be in a marriage with someone who might love you but doesn't like you. It's not worth settling on. But while I may be single, I am fulfilled and busy. My birthday is Saturday, and I'll be spending it in Paris at the Lady Gaga concert. I just saw Sabrina Carpenter in Amsterdam, Taylor Swift in Lyon, Springsteen in Edinburgh, Noah Khan in Fenway Park. Earlier this year, I was able to visit Katamaya National Park and see the brown bears in the fall.
I want to travel the world and see all these different artists like you. Ugh.
I have a D&D group and a really amazing village of people I love. I know I would not be in this headspace if I didn't go to therapy and work out the why of me settling for this man on the first place. True story. When planning our honeymoon in New Zealand, I, of course, had planned the entire thing despite him picking the location. He refused to do any driving, so we had to do a guided tour that left on specific dates. He pretended not to be able to get a day off work when we needed to leave until I started crying and begging him just to ask his boss because literally no other flights worked. That's when he said he actually wanted the day off, but wanted to make sure I was actually working hard to choose good flights. By the way, if you want a good flight and you don't want to go anywhere, just go to your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytown. Anyways, I chose to marry that, and it was a lot to unpack in therapy, but I'm glad I did, because without it, I don't think I'd have built this life for myself. At the end of the day, what happened to me set me up to live a happier life than what I was living. So, some ways, I'm thankful for the experience, crappy as it was. If you're in the middle of something terrible, unfair, and world-shattering to you, just know it's not forever. While this experience has made me a bit of a believer in karma, I also know that there was a lot of work to get myself out of that big black mental hole. Sometimes it seems that I would slide back into it, but by looking forward and figuring myself out, I eventually called my way out. I think you can too, and you're worth fighting for.
That's so
The
sweet.
good ending. Oh my gosh.
I know. I love a good ending. We don't get a lot.
We don't, because not a lot of people like listening to that or writing about it,
Well.
honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people would really only go to Reddit when they have like problems.
Yeah.
But it's so nice when people come back and are like, the people need this.
Yeah.
Because we did.
People
Thank
got to
you.
hear this, dude.
We truly do.
Wow. Good for you, OP.
Good for you.
I liked her little ramble at the end there.
Yeah, it was sweet.
It's cute.
My brother is secretly living with me. Now my mother thinks I'm cheating.
You know he's living there though, yeah.
What? About 2 weeks ago, my female 25 sister-in-law, female 32, dropped a bombshell on my brother, male 29, that their youngest, 5 female, might not be his child because she had been sleeping with her ex-boyfriend around the time they got pregnant. He showed up on my doorstep and asked if he could stay with me while he figured this stuff out. I, of course, said yes and made up the guest room for him. My brother asked if I could keep his situation private while he figures out his next moves and especially not tell our parents. My mom has an incredibly close relationship with my sister-in-law and with how she treated her older sister who divorced her husband after he cheated on her, so she doesn't view cheating as someone worth divorcing over. Basically, the other day, my mom and I were on FaceTime and I was showing her how my quarantine garden was coming along. My back was facing the house, and during the call, she briefly saw my brother pass by a window without his shirt on. She ended up cutting the call short and left me confused until she called back last night and lectured me on how I was betraying my husband and that marriage is a promise for a lifetime. She said she understood I was lonely, but this was not the way to handle things. My husband has been in Canada, we live in the States, since April with his father, who is in kidney failure and struggling with other illnesses and is looking like he won't make it past Christmas at this point. He is aware of the situation and aware of not telling my parents anything. I couldn't explain to my mom and tried playing it off that she was just seeing things, but she didn't buy it.
Yeah, that's wild to say too.
Yeah.
You were just seeing things.
There's no man with no shirt on in
seeing
my room.
ghosts or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh my gosh. I told my brother what happened and he's frustrated about it. He asked for a few more days to get his head straight and then he will talk to our parents about it, but knowing him, those few days could turn into weeks. I don't want to spill to my parents, but the situation is incredibly uncomfortable. What do I do? We do have some relevant comments, but what do you think she should do?
I don't even know.
I don't know either.
How do you get around that without being like, yeah, brother, stay in here? kind
Yeah,
of thing?
right? Because what I'm kind of scared of is the mom telling other people about it.
Right.
Like she's gonna gossip. We were talking about like family
Ooh.
gossip before and how it's going to spread, And like imagine her just telling other family members about this. Of like, yeah, she's cheating on her husband. Blah, 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 blah.
I want to know how different the brother and husband look, that she couldn't have just
Yeah.
been like, that was my husband, mom. Like,
Yeah,
it
'Cause I'm
must look
guessing-
real different.
I'm guessing they live like a garden away from each other. That's what it kind of seemed like the setup was. Like the mom is in her house
Yeah.
calling OP when OP's in the garden, and then in OP's house. What's their living situation?
I
again?
thought they were like on a video call, and that's how she saw brother.
Oh,
walk
okay,
past.
that would make a lot
That's
more
how
sense.
I took it, but I could
That-
have taken it wrong.
Would make more
All
sense.
I know is OP's living in their house, husband's in Canada.
Yeah.
They're making a garden, and somehow mother saw shirtless brother.
But we do have some comments. One commenter says, as long as your husband knows what's going on, I don't think this is a big problem. It will eventually get sorted when your brother makes a decision to deal with this, and then you can explain the situation to her. Is your brother waiting for paternity test results? And OP says, my husband is aware. I called him and told him what happened after my mother accused me. My brother has been too depressed to do a paternity test yet, but I am encouraging him to have one done, but I think he's scared of the results. He doesn't want to lose his daughter. And another commenter says, you said his youngest. I'm assuming they have more than one child. Do you think he should have all of them DNA tested? How long has she been cheating, and is she still having her ex as an affair partner? Has he been taking any steps to speak with anybody? You, your husband, a friend, his wife, a therapist? It's a lot to take in and absorb. He needs to get out of his head and use his words. Betrayal of her cheating is hard to accept. Then the question of his daughter. His name would be on the birth certificate. He will not lose his daughter unless his wife goes to court and amends it. Hugs to you both. And OP says, I haven't even thought about that as a possibility. His oldest is 9. From what I know, she told him she was seeing her ex for 3 months when she got pregnant with my niece, but who knows if that's the whole truth. Him and his wife are having very limited contact. He calls at night to talk to the kids and sort of ignores anything she says and hangs up quickly when the kids are done. I have a friend who is a psychiatrist and will be reaching out to her for a recommendation of someone he can speak to. So far, it's only been me, and he's telling me more as he processes it. Thank you for this, though. When I get home from work, I will be researching for a lawyer to contact on Monday. I don't think he will do it himself anytime soon. And we do have an edit.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Okay.
I already replied to one commenter, but my husband is aware of what my mom thinks is going on and why my brother is staying with me.
Okay, well then you can just tell your mom that you're cheating.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I guess
if your husband is like
worry
chill.
is like it going around town or something.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like if we're gonna come out in some way that somebody is cheating, why can't brother just be like, and my wife cheated on me, and I don't know that I want to stay with her, and the mom can get over it. It's not her relationship.
Yeah,
give him the time to think it out, but like he's
I
gonna
totally
have
agree.
to eventually.
And I mean, it's not anything that like he could have stopped, you know. But I do wonder, like, if he's getting even more scared from seeing her reaction to OP cheating, like, you know, that hypothetical. Then I wonder if he's scared of like how the mom will react to his own story.
Yeah, could be.
Even though he wasn't the one that cheated, but still. Edit number 2. I really am thankful for everyone who has commented. When I get home from work tonight, I will be looking into getting mental and legal help for my brother. Also, for those asking why I didn't just say it was him visiting, I will be honest. And panicked. I was nervous if I mentioned him to our mother, she'd call his home and talk to sister-in-law and find out everything. Considering how much my mom loves my sister-in-law, she'd take her side and try to intervene and guilt my brother into going back to her. Okay. Now we're understanding.
Okay.
That's right. Because of that detail.
The mom doesn't accept it when the sister did it or something.
That's right. Okay.
Or no, because the sister stayed with her partner who cheated. She thinks that everybody should just stay with their partners who cheated.
Right.
So they're not going to accept if the brother leaves the
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah.
Yeah, she can get over it.
I could have been much smarter in that moment. Honestly, I think those were valid fears of her.
Yeah,
The
honestly.
biggest thing is just like, if brother knew that mom, it was like, hush, hush, I don't want mom to know. Like, me as brother doesn't want mom to know.
Yeah.
Why would I walk past where I know that mom can see?
Bad idea, bro. That's on you. You might have to fix it now.
Dude.
But we do have a second update. 2 weeks later. It's been about 2 weeks since I posted, and a lot has happened since then. I guess to start off, about 2 days after I made the post, the cat was out of the bag about my brother and his wife. My mom did end up calling over to my brother's house and spoke with his wife, I think about something Christmas related. And she ended up breaking down in tears and telling our mom everything. Oh, wow. So the sister-in-law said it.
Not the way I thought that was going to come out. But yeah.
I mean, OP kind of guessed that, like, spot on.
Yeah, for real.
Long story short, our mom is relieved I'm not cheating on my husband and was upset that we felt we couldn't trust her to side with my brother before decisions were made. We had a big talk as a family and understood why she felt the way she did towards divorce. And she even admitted that she regrets how she acted when her own sister was getting divorced. She felt like her sister was ruining her child's life like her parents did to them by having them live half lives in different states. Overall, we grew closer as a family after that. This is like best case scenario.
Yeah.
This is amazing. What the heck? Wow.
Wow.
I'm impressed. On to the other things. We got a lawyer through one of our lawyer cousins who has
Okay.
a colleague that specializes in family law and divorces.
Perfect.
Great.
Again.
He also got a paternity test, and thankfully it came back that his daughter is, in fact, his.
Okay.
Okay. That is so funny.
Does that really change the results of what he's gonna do?
I think hopefully not, but I think that's like so funny imagining the sister-in-law being like, I could have kept it a secret. Ah, it's not my kid.
I wonder how he found out.
Or it's not,
Yeah.
a fair partner's kid. But yeah, right? Like, that is honestly just so funny. Like, obviously, I'm glad that the sister-in-law outed herself as a
Yeah.
cheater, but like, can you imagine her just being like, oh, I'm scared I'm gonna get caught. Oh, I think it's not your kid. I
And
think
then
it's
it
not your
totally
child."
is your kid.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yikes.
I had to do a bit of tough love to get this rolling. And however, his wife isn't doing well. After the paternity test came back, she thought they could work it out. Now she's no longer in their shared home and instead is living with her parents while my brother moved back in with the kids. I think he's happier now that he has the kids around him again. Currently looking into getting therapy for the children and my brother. We'll be starting therapy after the new year. I'm optimistic that it will be okay. My husband is still in Canada with his family. His father is still doing bad, but he at least gets to have one last Christmas with him before he passes. Oh my God. There's a little sad note in this story. I think that's all we could ask for. I'm grateful to everyone that commented and messaged me with advice, and my brother appreciates it as well. I'm looking forward to having Christmas dinner with my mom, my brother, and niece, and nephew.
You are? I'd be really stressed about that dinner.
Well, I mean, they had a good family moment.
I know, but I still feel
Sister-in-law
like
isn't
that's an
there.
awkward. Yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law's
Yeah.
still.
Just check up on the kids, see how they're doing.
Yeah.
With all the heck that's been this year, it's been nice to have this one moment. And that's the end of that story.
Woo!
Merry friggin' Christmas. Am I right, guys?
Merry
That's
Christmas.
crazy.
My husband made me work with him so he can stop cheating.
He's becoming an honest man, I suppose.
So my husband, male 36, and I, female 35, are high school sweethearts. We got pregnant in high school, dated for a few years after we had our baby, and decided we did want to get married. Through every single up and down, we were there for one another. I honestly didn't think we could have a more perfect relationship. It's something I have been so proud of most of my life. By the way, this comes from Heartbroken Lady 276. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, about 4 months ago, my husband asked me to get a job at his company. Before this, I had just been working part-time jobs because we didn't really need the money since we weren't financially responsible for a child anymore. However, we agreed the extra money would be lovely to go towards our family trip funds, something we both and our son add to as often as possible. Our hope being to take a family vacation across Europe for a few months. And we were trying to make it happen sooner than later, because our son is recently married. We want them to be able to still go on the trip without worrying about a new baby. Once I got the job, I thought it was such a great decision. I was making quite a bit of extra money and seeing my husband so much more. Well, a couple of weeks ago, one of his coworkers approached me and asked how I could be so cool with the ongoing situation. I had no idea what she was talking about. So I asked for more detail, and she told me my husband and one of his coworkers had been having an affair for over a year.
Boo!
Tomato, tomato. Honestly, I trust my husband more than this woman I just met. I told him about it that night, and he immediately broke down. He told me he was so sorry, but it was true. He said I'm still the love of his life, but he needs some excitement outside of our relationship.
Oh, you need that? You really need that?
He told me he had been feeling so guilty about it. He asked me to start working there, hoping it would make him want to cheat less. But it's actually just caused them to sneak around more and find their relationship even more hot. I don't know what to do. I'm so humiliated. I feel like I should stick this out because we've been together so long, and I know it would devastate our son. But I don't think I can move on from this. He didn't even apologize. Just told me every man needs something new and exciting in a long-term relationship, and that it means nothing. Well, it certainly feels like something. We have an edit real quick. Thank you everyone for the kind words and support. I also got many messages that were so sweet. It has been really helpful to read everyone's advice. I was trying to figure out the best way to tell our son. I wanted to sit him down and let him know that my husband and I are getting a divorce.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. That's probably for the best.
I agree. I bought the things to make his favorite meal and invited him over for dinner. Well, a couple hours ago, he called me and was extremely upset. He said that my husband told him I cheated and we were getting a divorce.
Rude.
He begged my son not to tell me, as it would just cause further problems. Oh, so he's lying still?
Yeah, it's going to cause further problems because he's going to find out that I'm lying.
Right.
And you're going to find out that I'm lying.
But my son wanted to know how I could do that to Dad and couldn't stay silent. I told him what actually happened over the phone, and he started crying. I am absolutely furious that my husband put my son through that. Even though he is an adult, it's still a very upsetting topic, and it should have been handled with care, not lies. I found a great divorce lawyer with my friend's help, and I am getting the ball rolling immediately. His mistress also messaged me after she found out I knew. She said I should be grateful that my husband and I had a good marriage while we did, but she would be taking my place now. I ignored her message and blocked her. Good for you. I have an amazing support system in place and will be moving out later today. I'm staying with my friend and his wife until I can find a place of my own. I told my husband I'm divorcing him and moving out. He broke down and asked how I could do this to our family. He said I'm the one making the decision to end it and I should be ashamed I would throw away our marriage. He said he couldn't believe I would throw in the towel so quickly.
Bro.
Buddy, you've been cheating for a year.
Literally.
It's on
Come
you.
on now.
I told him to F off and go cry to his mistress. So now you're all caught up. If any more happens, I might update again. A little scared because we're halfway through.
Oh no.
Thank you all again for your kind words and support. You have made this a little easier. Any advice, please?
Oh boy.
We have some comments, but
I fear an update is probably coming along.
I do also fear an update. I don't think we have half a story of comments.
Yeah, because it feels like things are pretty much resolved.
Yeah.
So I'm really scared, like, what's gonna happen now?
Maybe something to do with family vacation or something.
Yeah, my guess is that OP's ex-husband now is going to get out of that past relationship because it's not going to work out, and he's going to come running back and try to get
I could see that.
money or something.
Okay, I'll take a different guess.
Cool.
Just to keep it
Interesting.
fun. They're finally saved up for their vacation, and he wants to bring his mistress.
Oh my gosh. Do you think they would even go on their family vacation together anyway after all this?
I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like maybe if the kid was younger,
True. But
like
seems
he might still want that family vacation thing.
Yeah, or maybe there's just problems of like who gets to go on the family
That's
vacation.
what I meant. Like,
yeah.
also like who gets the money
Yeah,
for that.
like, will
do
he just
you
take-
figure out everything you've put in?
Right. There's so many ways this could go.
Comments. Commenter 1. Getting you to work there and then continue to sneak around is so sad and sadistic. I'm so sorry. No one deserves that. Someone replies, why do they always say, you're the love of my life? It's patently absurd. You should not stick this out. Absolutely not. Not only did he cheat for over a year, he brought you into the workplace so he could cheat less and not stop cheating. Cheat less. And he cheated even harder. He's a dirt pickle who won't apologize for effing some random woman who means nothing, yet who he was willing to risk his marriage to the aforementioned love of his life for. He deserves nothing from you, and you deserve someone who actually cares about you. Someone this cavalier about cheating, I'm willing to bet, isn't the first time. He's still defending himself with utter tripe that, for the record, is complete nonsense. No, most men don't cheat, they just don't. Lawyer up and punt his butt. Commenter 2 says, I would go petty and serve him the papers at work and say, I hope that she was worth it, even when you said she means nothing.
Yeah.
Say that loud enough for her to hear.
Yeah, honestly.
Especially after her being like, it's my turn now.
Right. Like, I'm going to sweep it in and be
You
a better
can
wife
step
than you.
down.
Yeah. It's like, I doubt you're even getting
I
married.
doubt it. Take the humiliation to him. Take back control. You need a lawyer and a therapist. Take your baby and start over. You can do this. Someone replies, I would also report him to HR and his boss for workplace relationship and find out if the affair partner has a partner and let them know. If they wanted to humiliate you, make them effing regret it. And we do have an update. We knew it.
I really hope that any of our guesses are going to be included.
Like, I don't want them to be.
Not even plugged in. I really hope that some of our guesses are going to be included. That's so exciting.
I don't want them to be, but I want.
But I just want to be right.
For the story time.
Yeah, exactly.
Update. So I read everyone's comments about reporting my husband and his mistress to HR. And also sleeping with his boss. I did report them to HR, but unfortunately there isn't anything they can really do because there's not actually any proof. I showed them the texts, but they said unless I had proof of them committing acts on the work property, nothing could be done. On the bright side, I guess, I and his mistress found out that there has been a lot of others.
What? I wasn't expecting that.
I was not expecting that.
And the mistress found out? Are you guys gonna like band together now in a way?
Not after what she said.
Yeah, true.
That would be such a like, you thought you were gonna be the next wife?
Yeah, right?
He was cheating on you too, honey.
Dude. Yikes.
Including some older than her. His oldest affair had been going on for over 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
It was just a friends with benefits type situation. It was one of the moms I was on the PTA with.
Oh my gosh.
Both married and just looking for spicy sleep, apparently.
Girl.
I'm so glad you got out of here.
Dude, for real.
Well, his mistress is just devastated. She cannot believe he could possibly do this to her. She actually reached out to me asking for advice on how to handle everything. Once she realized I blocked her, she had one of our coworkers come and ask me. As for my job, I actually really love it. F the two of them. I'm keeping it. Woohoo! I'm good at it and I enjoy it. I make a livable wage from it. HR did tell me they would transfer me to a different branch, so I'm actually in the process of moving. Not just out of my ex's and I's house, but pretty far away. My ex begged me for a second shot to honor my vows and the commitment I made. He got very upset when I brought up the fact that he didn't keep his vows. He told me that first and foremost, loyalty should come first, and no matter the mistake, I should stand by his side.
That's crazy, because if it was any other mistake, I feel like you could say that. You could say, yeah, be loyal. I mean, depending on the mistake, you probably shouldn't forgive it, but like, be loyal and like work through this with me together. But it's like the irony of the fact that the mistake is you being disloyal, like, girl.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
I looked at him and told him to miss my effing butt, which I'm going to assume is kiss my effing butt. That is my favorite thing to come out of this so far. By the way, my favorite thing to come out of this story is letting you know that you can listen to even more stories and episodes just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left.
I'm appalled by this man.
Yeah,
and
but
his audacity.
Honestly, go OP. Like, she was like, okay.
Yeah.
Pulled up everything that she needs to do.
Literally.
Kept her new job.
Yeah.
Is moving. Like, is so much better off now.
Totally. And is not falling for it and taking him back.
Yeah.
She's standing her ground.
Yeah.
And
she
we love
knew
that.
right away, I'm not standing for this.
Yeah.
And like, you know your self-worth. And good.
I love
Good.
to see it.
My son believed me 100% without showing him the messages from the mistress. He cut contact with his dad.
Woo!
Also, to clear up some confusion, my son is 20. He met his girlfriend the first year of college, and they got married 2 months ago. Very recent, and part of the reason I was so concerned about the news of his dad and me. So, all in all, I am moving and starting over. And I have full support from everyone except my parents, who think I should stay and stick it out. Boo, parents.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to everyone who sent kind words and encouragement. You truly made a hard time a little easier, and that is the end of that story. I chose to rekindle with my ex, and now she's doing everything all over again.
Let's unkindle that.
Myself and my girlfriend have been dating for the past 3 months. To give context to what's going on now, we have known each other for the past 3 years, and we used to date. She does have children, and I'm childless. By the way, this comes from FUSeaweed8382. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. NOP says, I originally met her at a gas station I used to stop at on my way into work. We got to talking, and it took me a lot of time to build up the courage to ask for her number. One day, she complimented my tattoos, and it gave me the courage to finally ask her out for her number. It started out great, and we talked every day about everything. We went out on dates, everything seemed great. We officially started dating. However, not long into the relationship, about 3 weeks, she grew distant and cold. One instance, I drove an hour into town to pick her up for a date, which we had both agreed on, and she wouldn't answer my calls or texts when I arrived. I sat there for an hour, and then I drove back home. She called on my way home to let me know she had a family emergency. Totally understandable, but I felt a heads up would have been polite. After that, dates began being canceled on her end, and texts became less frequent. I knew by that point she had lost interest, and she eventually ghosted me. I'd still come to the gas station on my way to work. It was the only one between my job and house, and it devastated me seeing her. Months passed, she quit, and I felt it was all in the past. Eventually, I caved and reached back out to her. Stupid, I know. We started talking again, and things seemed great. She started making an effort to come to see me. I began to feel like we could potentially start dating again. But the same pattern started back up. We'd make plans, and she'd cancel them. During this time, I was scrolling through social media, and it recommended her as a friend. I breathed wrong. I didn't know she was on the platform, so I thought, why not check her page? I clicked on her account and found a link to her spicy page. I was in shock. I hate to admit it, but I clicked the link. I couldn't see anything, but I was able to see dates and times of her posts on there. Turns out the time she's bailed on our plans were the same time she was posting on that page. That was an instant stab to the heart. I messaged her about it, and I was upset. She was extremely defensive and told me she could do what she wants. That's true, but I wasn't okay with it. So I told her I couldn't continue being in her life and was hoping things would have been different this time around. I then blocked her on social media and her phone number. This brings us to recently. I've since moved out of state and started a new life. About 5 months ago, I was drinking with a coworker and I was buzzed. I was curious and added her on Snap. She literally added me back instantly. I panicked and told my buddy I might have messed up. After I sobered up, I decided I'd made my choice and I would leave her on it. During that month, every time I posted, I noticed she was always the first to look at it. It wasn't until a month later on my birthday that she messaged me, wishing me a happy birthday. I was polite, thanked her, and left it at that. About a week later, I posted about my motorcycle, and she messaged me, asking if it was a new one or the one I had took her out on. From then on, we started talking every day. I found out she doesn't make her spicy content anymore. She went back into a job she enjoys and overall changed a lot.
Why are we doing this, dude?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? It's never worked out
This is
before.
the third try.
Like, come on.
With the distance between us now, I felt there was no chance for us to work, so I was genuinely enjoying her company. We have so much in common, from our interest to music to what? That's the only...
We have so much in common, from our interests in music.
Yeah. It literally just goes, it felt like we've known each other forever. From our
Shut up,
interest in
dude.
music.
Shut
You
up.
gave us one instant. That's like the
Nicholas.
easiest one. Everybody likes
on.
music. It's not even like our interest in the same
type.
music.
No,
it's just
we both like
music.
music. Wow. You guys are milk toast people.
One week, I decided I wanted to come see her. We shared our locations on Snap so she knew where I was and so I could find her house. We made plans for a weekend and I booked a hotel down the road from her house. That night, we chose to go to the movies. I picked her up at her house and it went well. I returned to the hotel and was excited for the next day. The following day, I picked her up and we went shopping, walked around downtown, and even checked out an arcade. We played air hockey for hours, and that's when the spark hit me. I held myself back from giving her a hug because I didn't want to cross any line. I told myself, there's no way this could work with all the distance and all. I stayed over at her house for the first time ever that night. Overall, it was an amazing
didn't give her a
weekend.
hug? You stayed at her house. We were like, hug? No. Oh my goodness.
She told me in 2 weeks she'd travel down to see me. I didn't want to hold my breath due to our past, but she proved me wrong. She showed up and we spent another amazing weekend together. She told me she wanted to make plans for a big event coming up by me in 2 months, and of course, I said yes. This is important later. She came down again a few weeks later and officially asked to be my girlfriend. She met my family and told me that if she didn't have kids, she'd move down here in a heartbeat. It was moving fast for sure, but I was on cloud 9 at this point. She then told me she wanted me to meet her kids, and of course, I wanted to. Mind you, I was extremely nervous and terrified. I'd never met a significant other's kids before. I went up on her weekend with the kids, and overall it was a good weekend. We took them to the park, to dinner, and I got fancy drawings out of it. I felt a lot better and started to think I could see a future with her and them. However, the weekend after this, we were supposed to go to the event by me. She told me she didn't want to make the drive. I told her it's all right. I'll come up and see her. Literally a few days before, she said she's stressed and needs alone time. She didn't want me to come up. I understood and said that's all right. That weekend, though, I noticed she left me undelivered and I got concerned. I checked the Snap map and saw she was at a specific house in another town for a few hours. I was confused but figured maybe she's just busy or with a friend. Maybe she's picking up or dropping off her kids at her ex's house.
That is another option, yeah.
Once she messaged me, she told me she was door dashing. It made sense.
That is a very specific lie if it were a lie, so I feel like it probably is the truth.
She messaged that she was door dashing and she was at the same house for 3 hours.
That doesn't make sense. I missed the part where she's at it for 3 hours. She's just very thorough.
And OP says, it made sense.
I guess, yeah. OP also did not hear it. OP and I both did not hear that part.
OP said, well, I'll go back. I checked her Snapchat, saw she was at a specific house in another town for a few hours.
Yeah, she's dropping off the food, and then she's making sure they like it.
It made sense. A week after that, I closed on a house and was busy moving in. I wasn't messaging as much due to how hectic it was. She mentioned that she understood, but that it bothered her that I wasn't messaging as often. After that, our texts became shorter and shorter, and I felt something was off. I'd ask how she was doing, and it'd be fine. It became harder to hold a conversation when there wasn't much in return. She told me she found out a relative was passing and was flying out of state with her mom to see her. I understood, and it was a positive thing for her to go. While on the trip, I'd messaged asking how everything was going. I'd be left on red, but Snap would show she was active. I'd get an occasional text from her, and I'd respond, but again, I'd be left on red while she was active. I was even left on red, but she posted a mirror selfie. I messaged her saying I'm sorry about her relative and that it's good that she's helping her mom. It just bothered me how I was left on red, but she was able to post. She instantly apologized and said she had to take the pic quickly before leaving the hotel. She also told me she's been extremely busy and hasn't been on her phone, but remember, she's been active a lot. It struck me as odd, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. She said she'd work on messaging me. After she returned home, she told me her mother might have a terminal illness. I felt for her and wished more than anything I could be with her during this time. I'd ask how she was holding up, but I'd always get the same response. Fine. I wasn't sure the right questions to ask, and it'd lead to our short conversations turning into fights. She'd tell me I'm not calling her anymore, not making an effort, and not supporting her emotionally. She'd mention that I didn't ask about certain situations in her life. A little context, I used to call her in the morning before I went to work, but she started sleeping through it, so I stopped. She used to call me when she'd go off to work because she finished later than me, but she stopped. I felt maybe I should have been calling her rather than waiting for her to reach out. I began to feel I was failing as a partner. This leads us up to this last week and tonight. Originally, we had plans to fly for vacation, but with everything else going on, she couldn't take time off. I told her I missed her and that I'd still like to see her. If it was all right, I wanted to come up and see her this weekend. She told me that's fine. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my extra days before the weekend, but I knew I needed to be there by Saturday. I left Wednesday morning, stopping in a new town. That night, she was very distant. I called her and she went off on me. She said, I haven't made an effort. I don't listen to her. And she always has to repeat herself that she needs me, but I'm not there emotionally. I told her I've been working on it, but I can't change overnight. She acknowledged I didn't ask about an event in her life, and that's why she messaged me. She also told me she wasn't originally going to answer my call, and I was lucky that she did. Things calmed down and seemed to be normal again. I noticed that we went from super BFFs on Snapchat to just best friends.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I will say me and Keon's best friend have been in a war for that, but that's fun.
That's fine. I don't mind.
No, I said fun.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
I say,
yeah. Yeah. Because most of my snaps to him are now, tell so-and-so that I'm winning.
I'm
This
winning
is
today.
weird.
Yeah,
I'm
this
winning
is
right now.
nonsense.
I mentioned to her how I noticed and how I'm not her number one anymore. She said, well, she must not be mine either. I sent screenshots showing she was still mine, so I asked who hers was. She said it was her nephew's wife. I acknowledged it, and the conversation shifted to her telling me about an update to her favorite video game. She then said she'd call me back because her sister was calling.
How old are y'all?
Yeah, maybe
Why
it's
are
one
you
of those
using Snapchat?
things where like the nephew's like really close in age or something.
Maybe, but you guys got to be like somewhere in your 30s, which is ridiculous for how you're acting. Both of you. She's obviously a terrible partner. Leave her!
About an hour or so later, she messaged saying that she'd call and that she didn't mean to offend me, but asked if I was leaving Sunday. I told her I could if that's what she wanted, but originally I was going to leave Monday morning. She knew I was off until this coming Tuesday. She then said she has a lot going on and is stressed. I asked her what was stressing her out. She then tells me because I didn't give her a plan, her nephew and his wife invited her to dinner on Sunday. She said she'd tell them no since I couldn't give her my plan. I was taken aback. She knew I was coming up this weekend and knew I was off until Tuesday. I told her she knew I was going to be there this weekend, and the only thing I didn't have planned was everything leading up to it. She said it's fine, it'd be nice if I told her my plans, and she'd just cancel. I literally told her my step-by-step plan I had for Saturday, but the message wasn't opened until the next morning. I woke up to her saying she didn't need a step-by-step, just we'll be doing this and that. That response confused me. We literally didn't talk much that Thursday. Friday wasn't much different, except I asked how trick-or-treating with her kids went. And I was left on red. Come Saturday, I woke up at 8 a.m. so I could make it to the florist to pick up my order. I drove to the coffee shop, then headed toward her house around 10 a.m. I called her, no answer. She called me back, and it turned out she was still sleeping. I expressed my apologies, saying I'd assume she'd be up by then. She said it was fine and asked how far out I was. I told her 10 minutes, and she freaked out. I got, you didn't tell me the plan or the time. My house is a mess. I haven't showered, and such. I felt terrible, but the plan was to show up with flowers, her coffee, and a stuffed animal as a surprise. I made it to her house and rang the doorbell. It took her a good 5 minutes to open the door. She proceeded to tell me how I failed in planning and slammed her bedroom door. She came back out but kept her distance, arms crossed and no eye contact whatsoever. We began having a talk about our issues, and she told me how she needed me, but I can't even call her. How I say things will be better when I get up there, but since I'm not, I have to do what I can through the phone. I felt terrible, and I apologized. She said she knows she's a lot, and that she told me, and that I said that was all right. It's true, it's just been challenging when things feel off. Also, when I do ask, most responses are fine. I gave her a hug and reassured her I want to be here for her. This long distance is new to me, but I'm trying my best. She got dressed and asked what we were doing. I told her I had planned to take her to get her nails done. She said she goes to a specific shop and they're booked for a month. I then told her I also thought a spa day would be good. She said any other day she'd like that, but not today. She sat on the couch, so I sat next to her. I gave her a hug again, but she remained closed off. I got up and sat on the other couch. She appeared deep in thought. I asked her what was on her mind because her arms and legs were crossed and we hadn't made eye contact this entire time. No response. Then I asked what she would be doing today if I didn't show up. She mentioned a lazy day, reading and such. I asked if she wanted me to leave. No response. I asked if she wanted me to stay. No response. So I asked her if there was anything she needed to tell me about. She got a super angry look and stared straight into my eyes. She said, What are you getting at? I told her nothing, just that she seemed deep in thought and that I was trying to figure out what's going on. I mentioned I do have insecurities with how things ended last time and how I don't want to be hurt again. She then told me to leave. I said, all right, and left. As I was driving down the road, she then posted a provocative picture on her Snapchat, smiling all dressed up. I messaged her that the post hurt and that it was a low blow. She then proceeded to message back, I posted it to prove you're right about me. I'm the same person. I never changed. Dude, believe this woman and stop going back to her for the stinking love of God.
Why?
Please.
Why do we keep going back to this lady? She
There was
doesn't like you.
Yeah. There was a couple things where I was like, okay, OP might be like a little bit overreacting or like the Snapchat stuff. But like this girl just doesn't like you.
Doesn't like you.
She's
She is
being
not.
the
She's
worst.
just not that into you.
I told her I knew she wasn't like that anymore, but it's not right. She posted that to make me jealous. She then said she didn't post it to make me jealous. I asked why she posted it then. Then I messaged, wait a minute, does that mean you're talking to someone else? She said it isn't. I told her I'd be booking a hotel by her house if she'd like to talk or go on a date later. I drove 9 hours to see her. I thought they lived an hour.
Y'all live 9 hours away? This makes sense.
Okay. I thought it was an hour at one point, but I think that was before she wasn't working at the gas station.
Okay.
I rescind my thing about an hour. 9 hours is long. That's long distance. You're good.
Y'all live long distance. Y'all are too far away to have this messy a relationship and work out. It's not working.
I drove 9 hours to see her, so I wanted to try to work through this before I left. That night, I was left on red. I called and went straight to voicemail. She did respond when I asked if she was doing all right, but mentioned how I ruined the entire day. I asked if I could at least bring her a coffee in the morning before I left. She said no, that I made her really uncomfortable today, and I disrespected her in her house. I said, all right, I'll just head home in the morning, and good night. Then she messaged me a long text about how it hurt her that I brought up her past. I reassured her that that's my issue and I want us to work. I told her I would start therapy when I got home. Last night, I did email 6 therapists. Today, she messaged me saying she's sorry about what happened. I told her she has nothing to be sorry about. I've made my choices, and I have to deal with the consequences. She told me it affects her too. I acknowledged that it does, and with everything going on, it was wrong for me to add to her stress. She told me to drive safe. On my drive home, she posted an even more provocative pic of her in a skirt. I knew she had dinner plans, but posting that really bothered me. Literally the entire time we've been dating again, she's never posted pics like that. I looked at the Snapchat map again, and she was back at the house she DoorDashed at a few weeks prior. I messaged asking if she was DoorDashing again. Dude, do you understand how DoorDash works? You don't stay at the one place for a long time. Over an hour later, she said yes, and then she was off to meet her nephew and his wife. However, her location was at Barnes & Noble. Then she said they were going to the nephew's wife's parents, but the map showed she went back to that same house. Afterwards, I called and we talked, discussing our issues again. This time, I also emphasized how uncomfortable the posts are making me. It seemed like it was a bit better. Dude, you're already tracking her hardcore on Snap Maps.
You literally have her
no
location
trust.
and you can see that she's lying.
Right.
And also you have no trust in the relationship.
Right. But
like, you
for-
can
rightfully
see that
so, 'cause
she's lying.
lying.
And you still are like, hey, I see that you're lying. What does this mean? And she goes, she lies. And then you're like, yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't think you understand DoorDash.
Or Snapchat maps.
Or Snap. Then she said she was going to bed and we said our goodnights. Then I posted on my Snap about a concert I wanted to see, and she was the first to look at it. I thought she was in bed, clicked on our convo, and it said she was 2 towns over. So I opened the map, then her location turned off. By the way, we'll never turn off your ability to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, search up OK Storytime. Just a little bit more. My guy, this better end in you being like, and I blocked her,
And I
we
blocked
never
her,
talked
and I'll never see her again.
Ever again.
That's it. That's all you're allowed to do.
I went home the next morning, blocked her, and never saw her.
Come on.
It felt really odd. I messaged her, are you doing all right? I noticed you were in blank town, and now your location is off. No response. So I texted her the same message. She then messaged me that her nephew's car broke down. Her Snap crashed. She was trying to log back in, and it wouldn't let her. She said she was heading to get him, and Would let me know when she got home. She messaged me 20 minutes later saying she made it home. Honestly, I'm starting to question everything, and I don't know if there's more going on. Am I overthinking, or could she be cheating on me? Also, sorry this post is so long. This is all new to me. My husband is always having our neighbor over to our home every time I'm away. I think they're cheating! A woman, Beth, 30s female, moved into our state a few weeks ago. A single mother with split custody with her ex. My husband, Carl, 32 male, is a chairperson of our HOA. By the way, this comes from Annual Razmataz 94, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, a week or two after moving in, she calls my husband and asks his assistance in mounting her TV on the wall. He goes and helps. A few days later, her dishwasher was leaking. He goes and helps. This wasn't a problem for me, as he always helps everyone in the estate with little problems. As the weeks go on, she constantly needs help with things, always calling him for help. He goes. Now I started getting annoyed as we haven't been in the best state because I've just had a baby and he's 4 months old, and we've had fights where I felt he wasn't helping me enough. I gave natural birth and am still bleeding now and then, and my pelvis is still readjusting.
Oh my goodness. This is a classic time when the cheaters start cheating. When you're pregnant, or when you are getting through a tough pregnancy.
Nasty, nasty boys.
Nasty boys. Pay attention to your child, not your affair.
Carl goes over to help Beth again. Even our neighbors who are very close commented that it's odd, and offers that we do lunch or something to welcome her and to be friends, as she just moved here and doesn't really know anyone. Mind you, he hasn't done this for other people. I correct her, and she's very giggly about it.
Ew.
If I was like, I looked at you and I was like, hey, Sarah. And you were like, oh, actually, sorry, it's Sophia. And I'm just like,
shut up. I'm also like, why are you even, honestly, if I wasn't 100% sure about someone's name, maybe this is just me. I don't say their name.
I wait for someone else to say their name.
Yeah, I wait. I just, hey,
yeah.
I wait.
She seems okay. A bit too over the top in terms of trying to be dominant in a conversation, but I think she's okay. She comes over again one more time for a barbecue a week or two later, and our close neighbors join. They think she's okay too. Then that week, while I'm at work, she comes over to say hi to my husband.
Ew.
He works from home, she's a teacher, and schools are currently closed. She shows up wearing workout clothes. I got a text from my neighbor that also works for home saying Beth is there.
Shout out to your neighbor, man.
Shout out these neighbors. That one, though, I do feel are just so in this for the drama, but I love it.
Oh, they've got to be. I'm sorry.
I'm picturing binoculars.
They've got nothing going on.
I'm picturing binoculars out the window being like, who is that?
No.
She's wearing workout clothes over there.
Interesting. They've got nothing going on.
They're dialing up each other, doing multiple neighbor calls.
It's gotta be during the vid.
All right, Disturbia over there.
They're like, oh my God, did you see Beth wearing that little aloe set? You know what that means.
I got a text from my neighbor that also works from home saying Beth is there. I leave it as my husband is very social and we have cameras in the house. The next day, same thing. I mentioned that I'm glad she's made a friend. My husband agrees that she's a cool chick. This happens about 4 more times. I then have to travel for work 4 days away. And then she came over almost every single day in workout clothes.
No.
One
She's
night
working
I watched
out at your place.
She's getting her cardio in.
One night I watched the cameras and they were sitting by the table eating together and I just lost it. My husband is an avid gamer, so he plays games every night, eating dinner by his PC. I always beg him to sit and eat with me. He does it maybe once or twice a week. I called my
eat with you?
Yeah, that's sad.
That's sad. I want my partner to eat with me as much as possible when I'm married.
I called my husband after Beth had left and told him that these visits while I'm not home are making me very uncomfortable. She's been over 3 times while I was home, but constantly there when it's just him. He apologized and said he will set boundaries. Great! This discussion was on Thursday night. Friday morning, Beth rocks up again. I keep my cool because Carl said he will talk to her. I get home the Friday night and we have the discussion again. We are both calm and all that. Monday morning, our baby got sick. Carl takes him to the doctor and tells me that I need to be at home Tuesday and Wednesday because baby can't go to baby school because he's sick.
Baby can't go baby school.
It's actually really funny. Baby can't go baby school.
Baby can't go to the baby school.
I can't go to baby school today.
He's been kicked out of Club Baby for the
I've
week.
been kicked out of Club Baby.
Okay, cool. I can come home early on Monday and look after baby. Monday afternoon, Beth and her ex have a chat about an offer my hubby had made to the ex about him coming over and also being friends. The ex lives in our state too. Messy. Do you think Beth texted my husband about this chat that happened on Monday? Nope. I am home Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday morning, when I go to the office, Beth rocks up to chat about it. I lost it completely because now it's been a week since I told Carl about my discomfort. We had a very serious discussion that night where I said that if I see her here again when I am not here, I know he has no regard for my feelings. He was adamant about staying friends and asked for a compromise. I said that the compromise is that she does not come here when I'm not here. The next morning, he went to go talk to her about it, and apparently she was extremely apologetic, really wanting to be friends with me too. But she almost never came over when I was home. She hasn't been here since then, 2 weeks now. And I have not had a text or whatever from her. He refused to show me the text with her, and I told him that it will always bug me if he doesn't show me. He said, so be it. I honestly think he was having an emotional affair, but I will never know. My close neighbor told me about a conversation she had with him while I was at work a few weeks ago. He told me you were jealous, and I said, well, can you blame her? Then I said that he drops everything for these women, but doesn't do the same for you. And he said, that's what OP said. And then he went silent and changed the subject. Any advice, please? We have some comments.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's like so self-aware, like, yeah, I totally do that.
It's so suspicious. It's so suspicious. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. And also the fact that you're bringing up that your concerns.
Yeah.
And he's like, it doesn't feel like it's, you're getting kind of anywhere with that.
Not at all.
I don't trust it.
Top comments. Commenter 1. That's really painful. You are right to feel hurt. Even if not physical, the secrecy and attention he gave her crossed a boundary. OP says he honestly made me feel like I was acting crazy because he only spoke to her after I went to Lulu. But thank you. Commenter 2, he crossed many boundaries. And this is something that you need to go to couples counseling about. You have every right to be concerned and upset. I would tell him outright that he had an emotional affair. Not only did you see it, but the neighbors saw it.
Yeah.
And his lack of being forthcoming and letting you see the text messages is indicative of that and may show there is more than an emotional affair. I would go see an attorney to get your affairs in order in an effort to protect yourself and your child. Additionally, I would start sleeping separately for now, too. Commenter 3 says, your neighbor is a hero, calling him out for doing things for her and not you. Hopefully, with someone else saying it, it actually registers in his truck head. Even if it's not emotional cheating, he has no regard for your feelings or helping you out, but happy to spend time helping other women. Totally inappropriate.
Agreed.
We have an update.
Yeah, why does he have so much time to help her out and, no time to eat dinner with you?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But we have an update a bit over 5 weeks later. I managed to see the messages between them. Nothing of a spicy related nature at all. Not even flirty. There was a day when he texted her at 7:30, but only texted me at 9:45 after I had sent him a text at 6:50. But that's as bad as it gets. He does not know that I've seen the text, so I've kept it quiet. We had a massive fight a few days after I made the original post, and I told him that I am considering separation. I think this made him realize how serious this all is. It's pretty much a blur, but I've started going to therapy to deal with past traumas, and I am on antidepressants. Carl joined me in my last session, and I think he realizes what Beth's intentions were, as my male psychologist said that there was a very unusual behavior from her, and that she is a threat and has intentions. Carl and I are doing great now, but the reason I am posting this update is to show what Beth said to me after I decided to send her a message to bury the hatchet and move on. Here are the texts. Me, and me is OP. Dear Beth, I wanted to share what's been on my mind. I was genuinely glad when we first met. It felt like I'd found someone new with similar personality, and I thought there was potential for a real friendship. But as time has passed, I felt hurt and disrespected by some of your choices. As someone who has also experienced betrayal, I would have hoped you'd understand how it came across when you frequently visited my husband while I wasn't home, yet never came when I was there. You had opportunities to build a friendship with me too. I've just had a baby, and during such a vulnerable time, it was especially difficult seeing how often you reached out to Carl for help. Certain things like your son calling him Dada crossed lines that made me deeply uncomfortable. I tried to brush off a lot, but when you avoided coming by during the days I was home, only to return the moment I was back at work, it became impossible to ignore. I've spoken to Carl about his role in this, but as a woman, I also expected you to recognize when enough was enough. In my position, I believe you would have felt the same way. I've acknowledged everything now, and I am moving forward. Whether it was you seeking attention or Carl enjoying it, I was willing to let things go until both of your actions crossed into what I can only call unacceptable. Oh, we might not even get Beth's side. Beth then sent a very long voice note detailing how it wasn't her intention to hurt me, how she just naturally gravitates towards men. Yeah. Blah, blah. And how me being an introvert, she just didn't want to be in my space. Blah, blah, blah.
Come on, girl.
Then sent,
I really like you guys and hope we can still be friends, but in saying that, I will respect the boundaries and your wishes.
And then OP said, I appreciate your message.
So is that a yes? We can be friends?
If I'm honest, I still hold a lot of resentment, mainly because what he was freely giving you, attention and effort, I was begging for and not receiving. He tried his best to reach a compromise with me, telling me that you were over one day to ask advice because you met someone at a bar and wanted his opinion if the guy is interested or not.
Huh?
So I received a lot of mixed stories because I remember you saying that you're happy being single and not looking. I am working through my emotions as I have a lot of unresolved trauma. And Carl's constant defending you left a very bad taste in my mouth. I don't know if it would be possible while we are still working on things, as this has caused a very big rift between us. I realized my mistake here when I gave her a good feeling because my husband defended her. And then she sent a bunch of texts.
Carl defended me because he wanted you to realize him and I are good friends. I don't want to be that person, but I do think you need to take a step back and also put yourself in our shoes.
What?
You have a good husband who loves you and your son and wants to build a beautiful life with you guys, but you can allow insecurities or misunderstandings to interfere with that. Work on things that's fine, but don't push someone away that's wanting to be both your friends. Take time to think. I won't push it. What I mean by this is to trust your husband. He's incredibly loyal to you.
That makes it sound like she tried
That
something.
sounds like he's so loyal to you. I tried.
Yeah.
I
I tried, girl. You have no idea.
But he's a social, helpful person who gets along with women as his friends. And you need to accept that and trust that there's no ill intentions and he genuinely just is building friendships.
She literally sent this in the space of 6 minutes. I responded, sure, I'll put myself in your shoes. Visiting a man only when his wife isn't home? Constantly asking him for help with menial things around the house? I reached out to bury the hatchet, and then you spit out about I mustn't let my insecurities get in the way of someone's blatant disrespectful actions? LOL. Yeah. And again, I don't care who he's friends with. Whether it's a wiener or lady parts, I'm not jealous by nature. As he's had dinner with exes, we've had menage a trois, and we constantly comment on women that we see in public.
Wait, what?
Okay.
But when something makes me uncomfortable and I ask that the visits while I'm away stop, then I'm insecure. Thanks.
No, OP, that's not what I'm saying. I was trying to get you to understand that you have a loving and loyal husband and need to allow him to be friends with others. I did explain to you from my side why I did visit when you weren't there and still did say I will respect your boundaries moving forward, but would really like to maintain our friendship.
He can be friends with whoever the F he wants to. I didn't tell him to cut you off. I only asked that you not visit him when I'm not here. That's it. If he ended the friendship, that was on him. Your blatant disrespect now honestly got rid of any of your chances. I said to you that it is not a good idea now while we work on things, and you decided that your effing opinion mattered? If I made a mistake, I would never put the blame on the other woman, blaming her insecurities and saying she must let her husband be friends with other women. Shame on you.
True. I will give you time.
There's nothing to think about. You showed exactly who you are. Your self-absorbed need for attention led you to overstep. Whatever place you imagine you had in Carl's life doesn't exist. He even sees how disrespectful and unacceptable your behavior was. All of us have lost every ounce of respect for you. Enjoy the life you've made for yourself. I then blocked her.
Good.
My husband was appalled by her behavior.
Finally.
And said that it's completely unacceptable. He did not text her to say that, but he did decide that cutting her off was the only option.
Heck yeah.
He promised he would tell me if she texted him, and he hasn't said anything, so I'm trusting him. How about he just blocks her?
Yeah, how about that?
Maybe he can't if he's the HOA.
Yeah.
Gotcha. She has moved out of the estate and is no longer part of our lives.
Yay.
Can block her
now. Bye.
I wish I could have given her a proper send-off, a glitter explosion or raw fish down her car vents, but I was too preoccupied with work and my baby. We are doing much better, and he sees how much his actions have hurt me. He is making more of an effort to make me feel better and happy and secure in our marriage. Thanks for reading. Woo. We have some comments. Why are you telling your potential homewrecker all your personal information? Stop texting her.
Yeah.
You're just giving her the upper hand. Spilling the beans on every part of your relationship with your husband. Stop it. I don't think this is the end of it. He's telling you what you want to hear. She's telling you things about your husband as if you don't know him. He'll be loving it. This is going one way, and I hope you see it and take control before they manipulate you further. Commenter 2, while it may have been cathartic, OP, you've given her so much information to use against you. And the way she's acting, it seems your husband painted a very different picture of things to give her the impression this was acceptable behavior. I hope things work out between you and your husband, though. And another update!
Woo! Let's dive in.
I've read through all the comments and did some thinking. I realized that I stuck my whole dang leg in my mouth, but I was so caught up in the heat of the moments. I guess it was a mix of me being on new medication, anger that my husband would just not tell her to F off, and me trying to set the picture of me not being anything close to jealous. I realized my mistake, and it is what it is. To those saying fake, I don't really care. That's why I posted on a venting sub.
Heck yeah.
Even though things are going better now, and we are in therapy, I still hold resentment. Because he outright refused to block her while she lived in the estate, saying, what if there's an emergency? I can't block a tenant. And he refused to call her out on her behavior because he doesn't want drama. I respect his decision, but it still hurts. I also hope that he's started having dinner with you.
I hope so. Can we just have dinner together?
It's
Please.
such an easy thing
It's
to
so
ask. You're
easy.
gonna eat anyway.
Yeah.
We've been together for nearly 10 years, and I tell him that sometimes I feel he cares about other people's emotions more than mine.
Yeah.
I pretty much am just keeping a low profile now, spending time with my son and trying to focus on the happiness that I do have. And by the way, you guys always have full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. We've got just a little bit left.
Yeah, you guys need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
You need to work through this because it doesn't seem like you're on the same page in your relationship. And I don't think he fully understands why what he did was wrong.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. So I feel like we need to work on this.
I don't trust that he doesn't just do it again eventually.
I agree, yeah. He only saw that it was wrong when she started overtly being awful.
Right.
But I don't think he understands that him prioritizing Beth and unknown, just kind of a random woman over his wife who's pregnant.
Just had a baby.
Oh, sorry, just had a baby. Even worse.
Right,
Just had a
like
baby.
that was the awful part, dude.
Yeah, it just had a baby. And you're not home and you're not prioritizing that.
Yeah. Gross.
Let's finish her off, though.
Whatever decisions he makes now going forward, I will address it when it happens. I was not in a good mental space when this whole thing happened. I am growing as a person and learning to control my emotions. Also to control what I just blurt out when I am upset. Thanks for everyone's input. It's not healthy for me to keep dwelling on this. I am moving on now, whether my husband wants to move on with me or keep his old ways. I will cross that bridge when I get there. And I have a plan for if things do go sideways. Thank you all. And that is the end of that story. My sister-in-law cheated on my brother, and it ruined how I see her.
Cheaters always gonna cheat.
Am I the a-hole for not talking to my sister-in-law after cheating on my brother? Title says it all. My sister-in-law emotionally cheated on my brother. They went through a rough patch, but eventually got back together. By the way, this comes from Big Friendship 8007. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, since I found out a brother lived with me during their break, I've completely distanced myself from her. I was and still am disappointed. Even after she and my brother made up, she tried reaching out a few times, but I ignored her every time. For my brother's sake, she'll be at my daughter's birthday, but outside of that, I'm choosing not to have any contact with her. This has been hard for me because we used to be very close. I never had a sister growing up, and she was the closest thing I had. What hurt the most is realizing she doesn't take accountability for her actions. Instead, she blames others, acts selfishly, and even cried to me, expecting that I'd defend her terrible choice for cheating. Am I the a-hole? Frowny face. Comments. Bumblebee True 3817. It sounds like you're grieving the relationship you thought you had with her, which makes this harder. But if she's not owning up to what she did, keeping your distance is reasonable. Apprehensive War 9612 says OP is not just grieving the relationship she thought she had. She's grieving the loss of the person she thought her sister-in-law was. When someone is unfaithful, it changes the way you view them. Add in the fact that she doesn't take accountability and blames others for her actions and plays the victim. OP is realizing that her personality is not the type of person she wants to have a relationship with. It doesn't matter if her brother forgives her. Her view on the sister-in-law's morals and values has changed. If you don't see eye to eye with someone's morals and values, it is nearly impossible to have a friendship, let alone a close relationship with them. OP responds, you have no idea how much I've cried. More frowny faces. I held it together at work, only to break down in tears on my way home. Even though 2 weeks has passed, I am still so disappointed, hurt, and sad. He may have forgiven her, but I just can't. I've tried, but I can't make sense of it. White Ghost 99 says, he probably forgave her in bed. She doesn't have the same opportunity with you, so she can't fix it. With you, the harsh truth can't be smothered under a heavy blanket of, there was nothing, babe. I only love you. Opie says, I know, sucks. I'll just isolate myself from her entirely. Once my daughter's birthday is over, I'll completely stop. Fangs McWolf says, how is she not taking responsibility for her actions? I'm not asking in her defense, but rather to better understand the situation. Opie says instead of apologizing, she turned it back on him, blaming him for being self-employed rather than having a full-time job, saying she never wanted to get married young and just wanted to enjoy, if you know, you know, and even admitting she isn't emotionally attached to him and it's his fault. She also blamed her acts on grieving over her passed-away sister, saying it's been affecting her and that she needed someone to talk to. Honestly, it's so messed up because who in their right mind thinks sending naughty pics and spicy texting is part of grief? Fangs McWolf responds again. I believe you mean grieving. Griefing means to cause grief, whereas you're talking about mourning her sister. Yeah, not the a-hole. If she wants to be a victim, then give her a reason to feel like a victim. When she complains about it, just tell her that you'll reconsider after she starts taking responsibility for her own behavior. Career OK 7413. It's okay to be upset and grieve, but I fear this will inevitably hurt your brother and you over time. If he can forgive your sister-in-law, can you forgive and be cordial? OP responds, honestly, even if I were to forgive her, I know our friendship has changed. I'll never see her the same way again. I did also realize that this might affect my relationship with my brother, but at the end of the day, I have to choose myself and my peace first. Selfish, but what she did was also selfish, lol. Career OK responds, as long as you know that you will probably lose your brother and believe it's worth it, then you're good. It's a terrible thing, and I'm sorry for your loss of a sister. I actually had a similar thing where a close friend cheated and also blamed everyone but herself for her actions after it ended. It was so gross to me that I ended the friendship a few years later after trying to keep it going. Got a lot of crap for it, but I don't regret it. It did irreversibly change how I saw her, and I never forgot it. It wasn't even about the cheating at that point, but her lack of accountability. It's very disappointing when someone you love is actually someone else that you never knew. Opie says, I know. I am very sorry to hear that too. It sucks that some people are so evil and selfish. And we have a judgment of not the a-hole, obviously.
Yep.
And an update 1 month later.
Wow. Yeah, some of those comments were a little bit mixed, I feel like if you I am curious to see what the brother thinks, but I don't think that you doing this means that you lose your brother. Like, I feel like if it ever gets to that point, I feel like your brother would, or you would change your pace, you know? Like, I feel like if you were so against her to the point where he didn't want to hang out with you anymore, then I feel like you would switch things up at that point. But we're not there yet, you know?
I would agree.
It's hard to say that.
Update 1 month later. The birthday itself was very awkward, but I kept things civil for the sake of my brother and the guests. I didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. Everything went fine. After the party, she tried reaching out to me through social media, but I didn't respond. About a week later, I saw my brother again for the first time in a while at a mutual friend's house. His wife came to pick him up since his car was at the mechanic, and I said goodbye to him and ignored her completely. It wasn't out of rudeness, it was simply my decision and a boundary I chose to keep. My husband and best friend told me to cut ties, as this has also deeply affected me. A day or so after, my brother called me to tell me she cried the entire way home because I didn't acknowledge her and that she believed our friendship was ruined forever. That honestly caught me off guard. It felt selfish because she didn't show any sympathy when my brother was breaking things off with her. Yet the moment I stopped acknowledging her, she became an emotional wreck. I feel as if she was more upset about losing me than what she did to him. Probably because he forgave her.
Yeah.
Then things escalated. She gave my brother an ultimatum. Cut your sister off to show you respect me.
What? That is coming out of nowhere. Oh my gosh.
A moment of truth. Okay. That caused a huge argument between them to the point where her father got involved. Her father took my brother's side.
Yeah.
He told her that she needed to ask for my forgiveness and that just because my brother forgave her doesn't mean everyone else has to.
Yeah.
Then she planned to come over the same day to apologize and beg for forgiveness without informing us. Just knock on the door and welcome herself in. My brother called to warn me, and I told him very clearly that I didn't want her near my home, and she should have thought about her consequences before she cheated. She kept insisting, but I told him I'm not gonna open the door. Eventually, he convinced her to stay away. I spoke to my best friend about this, and she advised me to remove her from my social media since she kept trying to contact me, and it was affecting me. So I did. That apparently led to another breakdown. She cried for almost 24 hours, which caused yet another argument between her and my brother. I tried calling him to check in, but he didn't answer. Later, he told me she accused him of not respecting her because he was still speaking to me. Ridiculous if you ask me, because if she truly respected him, she wouldn't have cheated.
Yeah. Her argument makes absolutely no sense here.
Oh my god, not at all.
Like, if she is literally begging OP to, like, not leave her and still be friends with her, but then somehow thinks that him talking to his own sister is disrespecting her, like, what do you want? Do you want to be in contact with me or not?
What is going on here?
Make up your mind.
She throws tantrums whenever he tells her to cut off the bad influenced guy friends due to trust issues, yet expects him to cut me off because I set my boundaries with her. And by the way, we'll never cut you guys off because you guys can always listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. Got a little bit left. She
is like really having such a hard time with handling her own mistake, and she's trying to like have everyone else fix it somehow. Like have OP forgive her, have the brother cut off OP,
right?
And then now her dad's involved, like.
And is siding with the brother, and she's still like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You're talking to your sister.
Right. And then she's not going to do anything like cut off contact with the guy friends that she's around. Like, I understand that that's not always like the best idea, and that can go into like dangerous controlling territory.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
it's not all of the guys that she's talking to, though. It's just the ones that he's like, you seem like you're getting too involved.
Yeah, like there's signs of possible cheating with these guys. And so that's the one thing that she can do to try to fix this thing.
My God.
And she's not doing it. She wants everyone else to fix it for her. Ridiculous.
Over time, his calls became less frequent. When he does call, it's usually when he's at work, in his car, or somewhere away from home. He can't talk freely because she apparently uses Google Translate when we speak in our mother's tongue, and starts arguments afterwards based on one word she picked up.
Oh my god.
Eventually, he stopped calling altogether to avoid the chaos.
No.
I don't fully understand why he's still with her, but I'm trying to stay supportive. His mental health has taken a serious hit, as he's emotionally drained, and at this point, my main concern is his well-being. Whatever happens in their relationship, I'll be here for him. He is my brother, and I just want him to be okay.
My husband told me he changed his old ways until the police came knocking at our door.
Sounds like he didn't change.
And there is a trigger warning here for gambling issues. When I was first married, my husband had no interest in gambling. When it started, it was just a few casual bets on football. It has gotten out of control. He doesn't just bet on his football team now. He bets on matches in other countries, such as American football or baseball. He even bets on individual sports like golf and Formula One. By the way, this comes from user Throwaway Naive 2809, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments, as OP says. He gets angry at individual players if they don't do the things he needs to win his bet. It becomes more important than his team winning. I couldn't stand how much his gambling was costing us. At first, I thought he was cheating with the way he was acting. I was devastated when I found out he was betting. I wanted a divorce, but he begged me to stay and go to counseling. He said it was a wake-up call and that he would never gamble again. We were going to counseling together, and he is in individual counseling as well. He said he has stopped gambling, but he was lying this entire time. He's been in trouble with the police. They told me police in a different country were investigating posts from social media that threatened a player there, and it was traced back to my husband. Oh no! My husband lost a bet and blamed that player. I'm not giving him another chance. I am moving out this week,
Good.
and I'll be seeking a divorce.
Smart. That's crazy.
Yeah, getting investigated internationally for threats? Yikes.
Big yikes.
When I confronted him, he told me he never stopped gambling and was just saying what I wanted to hear. Well, at least he was honest about that. I can't believe how stupid and naive I was. Any advice, please? And there are relevant comments. Comment 1, don't you dare blame yourself. You did the right thing. You gave him a second chance. He blew it, not you. Never feel guilty for being a sympathetic and reasonable person. Shame on him for failing you as your partner, and shame on him for being a piece of crap. Maybe now that the police are involved, this may really be the wake-up call he needed. However, you're not obligated to give him a third chance, and good for you for not doing so. Now give yourself the same grace you gave him, and put your life back together how you want it. Make yourself happy. OP says, I was so embarrassed when I found out what he did and that the police are involved. My husband does not seem to share my feelings. He was not embarrassed or bothered by this at all. I have found out that his gambling on sports is becoming more and more of a problem. I never thought it would happen to me. Comment 2 says, I am really sorry you're going through this. It is a problem that is going to need far more than just couples counseling. Recovery is possible, but you have to do what you need to protect yourself and your financial present and future as well. With how it sounds like he's escalating, he may find himself in major debt or even worse if he doesn't actually get help. I'll be the rare one to say don't rush to divorce just yet, but start to secure finances on your own that he does not have access to. Make sure you start having money in your own account away from his or a shared one. Change your passwords on your bank accounts and card information, and do not tell them to him. Take over bills, check your credit scores, and make sure he has not dragged you or your money into his problem. Then after that, you can start issuing more boundaries and even ultimatums about him getting help or you walking for good. OP replies, my husband was going to individual counseling and I had set boundaries. We were also in couples counseling. None of it made a difference. I will not be giving him another chance.
Yeah, no.
He already had one. Yeah, I agree. And it's
I was gonna say, I mean, she's already on her way to divorcing. We don't need to give any other advice than keep on that path.
If he lied that whole time, it's like,
yeah,
no, it's you picked gambling over me. As I said in my post, I will be seeking a divorce. There is nothing my husband or anyone else can say to make me change my mind. Commenter replies, I hear you, and your feelings and decision are completely valid. No one should fault you here. These problems affect far more than just the person doing it. I just know how hard it is to decide to divorce. My ex-husband had a substance use problem, and he became extremely harmful in every way possible. I asked him to choose rehab or divorce, and he made a third option of cheating on me. So I chose divorce. You're making the right choice. I hope he seeks help before he ruins his life. Opie says, I'm sorry about what happened with your ex-husband, and I hope you're doing well now. The counselor my husband was seeing was not the same one we went to for marriage counseling. She's a counselor for people with gambling problems. She also had him going to a support group, but he still lied to me and kept gambling the entire time. Once he admitted he was only saying what I wanted to hear, I knew there was nothing else I could do to save our marriage. And there's an update from a month and a half later. Don't lie to your partner.
Don't lie. It's bad.
It might even have been different if this whole time he was just like, yeah, I know, I'm going to this stuff and I still can't stop.
Yeah, and it's still not working.
And I'm trying to stop, but I just can't stop.
Which obviously, these issues affect the brain in weird ways.
Yeah.
However, that does not mean that you have to stay with him while he, sends your money down the drain.
No, not at all.
It just means that he needs someone else to help him, a professional to help him.
Yeah, and I think OP would have been more inclined to stay if it wasn't just the lying the entire time.
The whole time.
I moved out a month ago. I had already told him I would be seeking a divorce. He does not want a divorce, even though he admitted outright that he kept lying and was only telling me what I wanted to hear. On top of that, he was not embarrassed or bothered about being in trouble with the police. There is no way I can stay married to him. The divorce process formally began this past week, and I was clear with him about not wanting to see him or have contact ever again. I am trying to move on. And by the way, you never have to move on from listening to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, just search OK Storytime, and you've got a whole lot of stories to listen to. There's only a little bit left of this story.
I'm proud of you for making the right choice for you.
It's the hard choice, but it feels like the right move to make.
Yep.
Thank you to everybody who left encouraging comments for me last time. They really did help. I received multiple messages saying I was being too sensitive or a stupid woman, but I deleted them and have turned off the chat feature now. I appreciate everybody who was encouraging. I never thought something like this would happen to me. My husband did not start betting until a few years into our marriage. Back then, it was casually and only on football. Then he started betting on other sports, and it got worse. I never expected anything like this to happen to me, and I feel naive and stupid for believing he was trying to change. It was all a lie.